The Oklahoma Sooners are preseason favorites to win the Big 12. But Bob Stoops' team has an even bigger goal in mind: the college football playoffs. And why not? Sugar Bowl MVP Trevor Knight returns to lead the offense, while 2013 All-Big 12 linebacker Eric Stryker heads a tenacious, hard-hitting defense. Sooner Football 2014 begins right now on Fox Sports Oklahoma. Welcome to the 120th season of Oklahoma football. From the Gaylord family Memorial Stadium, the Sooners open the 2014 season as they play host to Louisiana Tech, and today's game is presented by the Chickasaw Nation. Hello again, everybody. Lowe and Dave Lapham. I'm Ron Thulin. There have been some changes since we last saw Oklahoma, of course, beating Auburn in the Sugar Bowl. The biggest is the offense is now tailored to one quarterback. Since Blake Bell moved to tight end, doesn't mean we won't see him at quarterback. It's a big move for Trevor Knight.
Trevor Knight had the best game of his career and the biggest game of his career. And this guy's a dual threat. He can beat you with his feet as well as his throwing arm. He wants to build on that record-setting performance at the Sugar Bowl. But he's only had 5 career starts, remember, because this guy had been playing the quarterback position as well. Now he's a tight end, and I'll tell you, he's very unselfish to make that move, and he is a legitimate tight end. I think he's going to be fantastic in the red zone with his length, his strength, his hands. Blake Bell could be a stud.
And you said, wow, when you saw him the other day at practice.
Oh, 6'6", 260.
Let's talk about Louisiana Tech. How are they going to generate offense? They are starting 3 offensive linemen that have never taken a snap in college. Cody Sokol is their starting quarterback, his first start for Louisiana Tech.
And he won the job because of his ability to recognize protections and recognize blitzing that's going to happen. He's got an understanding of his hot reads. So it's extremely important today, with all the pressure that Oklahoma's going to put on him, that he gets the ball out of his hand quickly and accurately, and don't make any bad plays that will hurt his offense and his football team. Can't put him in jeopardy.
Well, every time he goes to the line of scrimmage, Dave, he's going to be playing a game called Find 19. With more on that, here's Chad McKee.
Well, guys, it remains to be seen whether or not Louisiana Tech quarterback Cody Sokol will get a reprieve from the Oklahoma pass rush led by Eric Stryker tonight. He's on many preseason All-American lists, had 6.5 sacks a season ago, 3 in the Sugar Bowl. And if there's a player in college football whose last name better fits his style of play than Eric Stryker, I challenge you to find that player.
All right, Chad, it's the 16th home opener for Bob Stoops. He's won 4 straight, 14-1 overall. We'll step aside. Kickoff is straight ahead from Norman. Oklahoma football on Fox Sports is brought to you by WinStar. WinStar World Resorts. You're going to need to stay a little bit longer. Chesapeake Energy, leading a responsible energy future. And by Ford, brought to you by your Oklahoma Ford dealers. The Ford Summer Spectacular Sales Event, now playing at your Ford dealer near you. Sellout crowd on hand, and it is a hot night in Norman, Oklahoma. The Sooners looking for win number 843 overall, 599 in the modern era. And a moment ago, Chad McKee caught up with head coach Bob Stoops.
Coach, 16 seasons is doing this as head coach here at the University of Oklahoma in an environment like this. What is the opener like for you?
It's always anxious because the new team, it's kind of like a new baby every year. So it's you're anxious to see them play, and some young guys that haven't played as much, you're anxious to see them get out there.
Coach, thanks. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Bob coaching in his 200th game, the most wins versus top 25 teams among active coaches. And if he wins tonight, it would be number 161, the second best in the first 200 games, and the first best is
Joe Paterno, the legend there. And how about this? Bob Stoops in 15 seasons has never lost back-to-back games in the regular season.
That's amazing.
Never lost back-to-back games. That is mind-boggling.
Sooners won the toss. They have deferred. Louisiana Tech will receive. Tevin King, Hunter Lee back to get the kick. They've got to look up into the sun. And this is going to be King, and he wisely takes a knee.
He was persuaded by teammates.
Yeah, I'd say so, because even Skip Holtz told us the other day after the first kickoff, he thinks his team will come out and go, wow, that Oklahoma team is fast. Here's a good look at Cody Sokol, the junior out of Scottsdale, Arizona, the fifth-year senior. You saw on the graphic before he broke Tim Rattay's record for passing when he was in junior college. He's a kid that's got a quick release, and he does have some good feet.
Yeah, and his mind, they really liked how he understands protections and hot reads and things that go along with it. How about this? Louisiana coming out with a tight end and two backs in the backfield, going to play a little bit of pound ball.
Sterling Griffin is the wide receiver to the near side. Sokol will put it up. They want to take their shots in this ball game. First pass is incomplete, intended for Paul Turner. 6 or 7 of the starting lineup on offense have never played a college game. You can see that offensive line, and Darrell Brown is one of those guys that has never played. Mitchell Bell, he is probably the best offensive lineman. And the backs and wide receivers, and they got to step up big time, Dave.
They've only got 24 starts total up front in their offensive line, 5th fewest in college football. Oklahoma has multiple linemen that have more than 24 starts in their career.
And they stick to the air. Pass complete up to the 32-yard line. Sooners surround Trent Taylor after the reception. Let's take a look at this Oklahoma defense, because it is outstanding. The second year in the 50 front, the 3-4. Endele, Phillips, Tapper, they are on the line. I'll tell you, Dave, the speed is something that I don't think Louisiana Tech has seen.
Yeah, their size-speed ratio is amazing. And they have 3 weapons. I mean, you know, a lot of teams would be happy to just have one. They've got Stryker, Grissom, and Tapper. All 3 of those guys are disruptors.
Paul Turner goes far to the right side on 3rd down. We'll call it 5. For Louisiana Tech, the Bulldogs. Sokol again up in the air. Tip, knocked down. He was looking for Sterling Grissom, but Grissom got the big paw up.
He went airborne and spiked it right to the turf. It's just, you know, if you're not going to get to the quarterback, get your hands up. And there he goes. And I'll tell you, that was a nice vertical jump. He could have dunked that basketball. Actually, if it hit him in the face mask, he may have eaten it. He was airborne.
Yeah, they're going to have to kick it away. Logan McPherson standing back at about the 16-yard line. Sterling Shepard will receive for Oklahoma back at the 31. He has been waiting a long time to return punts. Little rugby style. And it'll go out at about the 28-yard line. That's where the Sooners will take over on offense. 40 yards on the kick. Bob Stoops says, I'm very impressed with my special teams. We're expecting some type of fireworks tonight. We take a look at Trevor Knight, the sophomore out of Reagan High School in San Antonio, Texas. And I think one of the things he has had to learn, Dave, is not to have such a quick twitch. You know, he's got to go through his progressions back there.
Yeah, just calm himself down a little bit. He's a quick twitch athlete in terms of his explosiveness, but sometimes he gets so amped up, almost like the mentality of a linebacker, and sometimes that can be tough on him early on.
Sooners will stack 2 wide receivers to the right, coming out of the backfield.
Oh, nice.
Knight swings it, gets a couple of blocks. Up over the 45-yard line is Alex Ross. Well, pick up a 15 on the play.
That does 2 things, Ron. Number 1, it gets your quarterback confidence, an easy throw out of the backfield. Number 2, it gets a running back in space. And the key to it were blocks on the perimeter that got him the extra yards. So good play calling to get the quarterback settled down and get him off to a good start.
And now Knight is off to the side, and Blake Bell's going to look like he's going to play a little quarterback here. I don't know what kind of formation this is. No, Trevor Knight is back there now. In motion is Shepard. Knight hands it to the first man through, Ross. He'll get close to the 50-yard line. Let's take a look at the Sooner lineup in this offensive line. They have really gelled together. The leader has to be Darrell Williams, big guy.
Darrell Williams there's no wasted motion with this guy. He is a stud, a true technician.
Keith Ford, will see him at running back along with Alex Ross, we've already seen, and the rest of the wide receivers. Sterling Shepard now on the near side. Almost a wishbone formation for Knight. He'll run the option and keep it to the 40, and he takes a knee at the 37-yard line. He learns how to slide Picks up another good gain of 14.
Well, Barry Switzer's going to like this, a little variation of the bone, but that's just a good read. You know, you get the defender between a rock and a hard place right there. Xavier Woods didn't know whether to take quarterback or pitchman, didn't take anybody. Trevor Knight turned it upfield and burned it.
What I like, though, Dave, is as Bob Stoops has been preaching to him, you get 13 yards, take 13 yards.
Right.
You don't need 15 and get hurt.
Exactly.
And it's 1st and 10 for the Sooners. Impressive opening drive. Knight again on the option. Ross blasts his way down to about the 33-yard line. Terrell Pinson finally wraps him up.
He's got track speed, but he'll lower those shoulder pads and thump you. Right side of the offensive line for Oklahoma. Take a bow. Man, you guys came off the football and just collapsed that whole side.
Give it back to Ross again. This time Louisiana Tech's defensive line. Nice job. Maybe picks up about a half a yard on the play.
You know, the one thing that Louisiana Tech has to battle is Oklahoma's tempo run. We see they go right to the line of scrimmage. Mentally, you have to battle it from the whistle to the snap. Then physically, you have to battle it from the snap to the whistle. So they put a lot of stress on a defensive football team, mentally and physically, and you can get fatigued in both departments.
Neal will now go wide to the left, and that concerns Manny Diaz, the defensive coordinator for Louisiana Tech. Just the time between plays. Shepard in motion. Knight keeps it back to Shepard. He doesn't have any running room. Nice job defensively by the Bulldogs, maybe getting up to the 30-yard line before Kentrell Bryce ran him out of bounds. Good defense.
Yeah, that was real good defense. And you talk about coming downhill to the pitch man quickly. Trevor Knight decides to pitch it. I mean, you know, the quarterback's taken, and then he also, same guy that took Trevor Knight, sprinted out there and took the pitch man. And that's just a very, very sound defensive play, showing a lot of closing speed by Bryce.
And on 4th and 2, the Sooners will go for it. Stacked wide receivers to the left side. Ford in the backfield. Knight's got time, scrambles, dumps it. First down, Oklahoma at the 21-yard line. Dimitri Flowers, remember that name. He picked up 8. This young man is going to be a stud.
He's a phenomenal football player. As young as he is, he can do anything for you. In fact, he's being compared to Millard, who was a so versatile football player for Oklahoma last year. I'll tell you, though, Knight had Keith Ford wide open, maybe for a touchdown in that play early.
Knight 2 for 2, throwing 23 yards already. And a fresh set of downs. They'll keep it on the ground to Ford. Bounces to the outside. Boom. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Keith Ford, his second career rushing touchdown. His first was last season. This one covered 22 yards. He had another gear, Dave.
He did, and you know, he's a violent downhill runner. He runs in an angry state of mind. He reminds me a little bit of Corey Dillon, who played with the Bengals for a number of years in the New England Patriots. Finishes every run hard. That time he wasn't touched. He would have scored in flag touch football. Nobody laid a fingernail on him.
Here's Michael Honeycutt. He should have been an All-American last year. Probably will be one this year. And a good look at Keith Ford.
This is
22-yard touchdown run. The Sooners get on the board first at the 10:22 mark of the first quarter. Take a look at our Ford scoring drive. It took the Sooners only 3 minutes and 36 seconds to cover 70 yards. Ford on a 22-yard touchdown run. Second longest run of his career.
Let's take a look at this. This is the first play of the football game. Get the ball out in space to receivers. Nice block to running back. Nice blocking on the perimeter. Tried the a little bit of an option to Sterling, a wide receiver, and just check it down to your Flowers, your true freshman. Then Ford takes it to the house. I mean, attack them in various quadrants of the football field and show a lot of different formations, a lot of different personnel groups, and try to get favorable matchups. You can't complain about that drive whatsoever. Involved a lot of different players in that drive.
Hey, Dave, let's put this in perspective. You and I were here last year for game number 1 against Louisiana Monroe. It took OU in that game nearly 19 minutes to get on the board.
Right.
They ended up winning 34-0, but it wasn't really an impressive win. And again, Hodgson's kick will not be returned, and Louisiana Tech will have the football for the second time this evening. Our Louisiana Tech player to watch, presented by WinStar. And it's going to be Kenneth Dixon. He's been a decoy so far tonight.
Yeah, they're going to have to get the running game going, though, in some fashion. You have to have some sort of balance. You can't throw the ball every snap against Oklahoma. You're going to have the running game get you into third and medium and short situations where it'll be much easier to throw the football.
And the numbers on him, very impressive. Owns a couple of NCAA records his freshman year. Skip Holtz, by the way, the head coach, also calling plays this season. Didn't do it last year. And that's Dixon's first carry and no place to go. And the key player to watch for Oklahoma, sponsored by Patriot Ford, and it's going to be that man right there, Eric Stryker.
Well, Dixon had no chance because he had to make his first cut in his own backfield. The penetration from the Oklahoma front seven was so significant that he had no chance to even make a cut. I don't care who the running back is. You have to make your first cut in your own backfield. You're dead meat.
Of course, he was second team Big 12 last year. Second down and 10 for the Bulldogs. Sokol doesn't have a whole lot of leeway when he gets to the line of scrimmage. Here comes the pressure, nothing doing. You saw it coming from the outside. Quentin Hayes was sneaking up from that safety position.
And they're going to love Phillips. Phillips is the big defensive tackle, nose guard type guy, 6'4", 340 pounds, and they expect him to be a playmaker like that. Had a back injury last year and missed some playing time as a result of it, but they are thrilled to have that big man right in the middle of the defense making plays like that.
He takes up so much space, Dave. That's huge in this defense.
He's a space eater.
And now third down and long. They need 14. Sokol has time, throws the deep pass, incomplete, intended for Sterling Griffin. We do have a penalty flag, though, in the backfield at Louisiana Tech.
One thing you don't want to be is 3rd and 14.
Right.
You don't want to be 3rd and 14 against this Oklahoma defense.
Here's Dan Romeo.
Holding. Offense. Number 74. That penalty will be declined. 4th down.
Mitchell Bell gets called for holding. Mitchell Bell gets called for holding on this play, and you know it's tough when you're in a situation. Here's Mitchell Bell up top here. You're in a situation 3rd and 14. Stryker, who grabbed his face mask as well. The thing about Eric Stryker, he's not big.
Right.
He gets up the football field explosively. He has a dip, and when he dips and makes that short corner, he is tough to handle.
First punt was 40 yards for Logan McPherson. This time no rugby. Backs up Shepard at the 29-yard line, looking for some space. The wall is forming. Scampers out of bounds and takes a hit. Once he gets out of bounds, no flag that we see. 50 yards on the kick, 17 on the return, but Shepard took a wallop.
I think the official must have thought that he took the hit. The hit was initiated before he went out of bounds. I'm not sure about that one, but I'll tell you, the open field quickness and speed from Oklahoma is going to start to show itself.
Seven 0 Oklahoma leads, 8:38 left in the first. Of course, Oklahoma, a lot of successful programs. One is women's basketball, and Chad McKee is with head women's basketball coach Sherry Cole. Chad?
Thank you so much, Ron. Sherry Cole indeed is with us. You have 6 new faces on your roster this year. How's it been adjusting to all the new ladies that you'll have in the lineup?
It's been a lot of fun. We had a great summer. The new rules allow us access a couple of hours a week, so we got to be with them all together on the floor, and I'm really excited about them. Really refreshing group.
Been a fun off season. Shireen Campbell has gotten married. You have Nicole Cornett coming back. Of course, Kaylin Williams as well. What's the summer been like for some of those who have been around for a while?
Well, Shireen hasn't had a bad day, and I told her had I known that, I'd have had her got married as a freshman instead of waiting until she was a senior. So we really have had great chemistry. They worked their tails off in the spring, and it carried over to the summer, and the new guys came in with the right mindset and the right intensity, so I'm really looking forward to it. They're a fun bunch.
Challenging schedule. You go to Duke, Cameron Indoor Stadium this year. I know you're looking forward to that. When do you get started, and what are you expecting?
Well, we open on November 14th with Washington, which will be an unbelievably tough season opener. A terrific team, very well coached. We have an opportunity to play Kentucky, Illinois, and South Florida while we're in a tournament over Thanksgiving, and then go to Duke. So, as usual, we'll be prepared when conference rolls around.
All right, Coach, we appreciate it. Thanks for braving the heat. Enjoy the game.
Thank you so much.
All right, one of my favorite all-time coaches, Sherry Cole of Oklahoma. Penalty on that play. They were looking for Shepard. So far in the game, Louisiana Tech 1 yard. The Sooners with 74 plays plus 10 yards already for Oklahoma.
Pass interference. Defense, number 21. The 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Oh, they have Barnes and Shepard going at it here. And after this game, there was a lot of woofing going on. But watch Barnes lock his right arm on Shepard's left arm. Kind of arm bars him. He can't get his left arm up to even try to catch the football. The officials saw the arm lock. See it right here? The arm lock that's taken place. And the flag is thrown. 15-yard penalty.
I'll tell you what I've been watching is Blake Bell, all the different places he has lined up. Here is Ford. Does a little stutter step, maybe gets a half a yard. You and I were talking about that during the break, and you said Bell's going to be kind of an H-back guy. He'll be tight end on that Shepard play. He was in the backfield.
Well, he's athletic. He can line up basically as another fullback, tight end, H-back, like a wing-back kind of guy, go in motion. They could even detach him and try to get a matchup on the outside as a receiver. He sees the game through a quarterback's eyes. He knows where to be and how to get there.
On 2nd down and 10. This time they just dump it down underneath the coverage inside the 35 to Keith Ford. Didn't have a reception all of last season. And when you talk to the coaches of Ford and Alex Ross, the first thing they say is both backs have practiced at a high level so far this year, and they've practiced well.
They have practiced well, and a guy that I like in the lineup tonight to see at the right guard position, Tyler Evans. You talk about it, that guy that's overcome adversity, 2 ACL injuries. He loves football, and he's still participating.
It's time to swing it back out to Ford. He gets a nice block. First down, Oklahoma, down to the 20-yard line. Deron Neal, number 5, outstanding blocking from that wide receiver spot.
And KJ Young, both of them. If you're not catching the football, you got to block for your teammates. And watch on the perimeter, number 5 and number 1. Boom, boom. Watch these 2 blocks. And off to the races you go. That's getting it done on the perimeter. That's just outstanding effort. A little screen like that on the edge. It's an extension of your running game.
Good read by Trevor Knight. Oklahoma rolling again. 1st and 10. Ball's on the 20. Back to the ground game, Alex Ross. Nice gain on 1st down. Picks up about 4 on the play. Ross, the sophomore out of Jenks, Oklahoma. This is his 3rd year at OU. He showed some flashes. He's got track speed, Dave, but you noticed on tape he also has some thump.
Oh, yeah, he'll lower his pad level. He's not just trying to run around you and run by you. He'll lower his pads and run you over as well. Just got to be a little bit more consistent with everything, including his assignments.
A little bit of a wishbone look again for Oklahoma on 2nd down and about 6.
A little inverted one.
I like that. Barry's smiling somewhere in the stands. Knight going for the home run ball deep in the corner to Shepard. Caught, touchdown, Oklahoma. "16 yards on the catch, and with that, Sterling Shepard has passed his late father, Derek, to move to 22nd place on Oklahoma's all-time receiving yards.
Bob Stoops has got a long history with Sterling Shepard, including the dad. Bob Stoops and the Shepard family are connected in so many ways, not just football. And they got the matchup they wanted. Ran a little fade. They had 1-on-1 Shepard on Abraham. Lights out.
And here's Michael Honeycutt again with the extra point. 2 points for Honeycutt tonight. 38 points away from becoming OU's all-time leading scorer. Look at it again, Dave.
Well, it's just a simple throw for Knight. You get the fade route going. You got the matchup you wanted. Isolation, your best receiver, 1-on-1 on cornerback Abraham. Shepard catches it at the high point. Touchdown.
Sterling Shepard's 11th touchdown reception of his career. Oklahoma up 14-0.
Well, by formation, look at the isolation here. Shepard on Bryson Abraham. Tough. No safety help because of how wide he split. And the quarterback says, I got to get it out there. I got my best receiver 1-on-1, no help over the top with safety. I'm not sure if Knight audibilized to it or if it was called in the huddle and they knew they were going to get it by formation. Whichever way it occurred, they got exactly what they wanted, and Knight and Shepard performed.
2 minutes and 20 seconds. Trevor Knight tonight, 5 for 5, 58 yards and a touchdown. Bob Stoops coaching his 200th game. I think his machine is well oiled so far.
Well, I'll tell you, you got Knight pitching a perfect game.
Yeah, he is.
And you've got up front, the offensive and defensive lines for Oklahoma are starting to take control of the football game, which doesn't surprise me.
Well, King and Lee again are back for Louisiana Tech. They are yet to return anything. And this is going to be King, and he will let it just bounce around. Hey, Sooner fans, get ultimate Sooner access all year when you join Soonersports.tv, powered by Fox Sports. Between the hash marks gives you the best sideline access each week during the football season. And Sooner Sports Talk is all things Sooners every Tuesday. Log on to Soonersports.tv now to get exclusive access year-round. Here's Chad with more on that. Chad.
Well, it's just a wonderful thing for Sooner fans. You have archived games on there, features on all kinds of student athletes. A lot of the sports that don't necessarily get as much play nationally get a lot of attention on Soonersports.tv. So you can go there, check out videos, highlights, interviews with coaches. If you're a Sooner fan, you need to subscribe and check out some of the wonderful things there.
Well, thank you, Chad. We'll touch base with you in a little bit. Dixon, nice run, first down, up over the 40, up to the 45-yard line. Prior to that play, Louisiana Tech had 1 total yard on 6 snaps.
Boy, and Oklahoma blitzed right into the play. I mean, they read it. Watch Oklahoma come off the edge here. You get an excellent kickout block, though. Off to the races goes Dixon, and he shows some patience. He lets his lineman out in front and his wide receiver out in front throw a block for him, and he picks up everything he possibly can. Paul Turner, number 3, out there in the perimeter trying to get something done. Nice effort.
You talked about how he can take a hit. We saw Sanchez have to double clutch on his hit. Dixon again, this time he has stood up at the line of scrimmage. Won't get anything, but we got a little glimpse of the power of Kenneth Dixon on that run.
Yeah, he'll finish too. I mean, he's got strong legs. And as we mentioned earlier, the coaches for Louisiana Tech say in description of Dixon, country strong. That means he can go out to the field and plow the field without a horse. Just take that plow and go.
Well, Skip Holtz is going to give him a little bit of breather there. There's Skip Holtz, son, of course, of Lou Holtz. Very successful coach in his second year at Louisiana Tech. Did such an outstanding job when he was at East Carolina, back-to-back conference titles. Now Sokol steps up, no place to go. He almost takes a big hit, goes down, loses the ball.
Whew. Penalty flag.
Penalty flag is thrown. Jordan Evans was in on that. I'm not sure if this is targeting or not, but how much lower can you get on this hit?
Yeah, he's Stokel trying to buckle his chin strap and gather his thoughts. He gets smoked on the play. I can say one thing. The protection to start was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Louisiana Tech stymied everybody at the line of scrimmage. 4-man rush, and Mike Stoops dropped 7 into coverage. Nowhere to throw the football. The 7 in coverage did a great job. Sokol decided to tuck it and run. He paid a price, but maybe not too big a one, because the penalty, I think, might be going against Oklahoma's defense.
Well, Skip Holtz out on the field wanting to know what's going on here. The officials, Dan Romeo, our referee, talking to his partners. Outstanding officiating crew tonight. And here's the call.
Personal foul. Targeting. Defense. Number 26. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down. By rule, number 26 has disqualified himself from the game.
Wow, ejection.
Now it has to be replayed.
Is now under further review.
It has to be replayed, and if it's overturned, he can come back into the game.
Right. But by rule, they have to go determine how severe the targeting was. And I'll tell you one thing, this is a deterrent for sure, because one thing that will lessen the player's targeting, he left his feet. He did. He left his feet with both feet airborne, left his feet and hit him helmet to helmet. That's definitely targeting. We're going to have to see if he's going to be ejected for the whole football game or not. You take away snaps, players do not. Oh, he's got his left foot down. He didn't leave both feet, so he didn't launch himself with both feet, but it was definitely a helmet-to-helmet hit. Now Sokol is going to the ground, giving himself up, and Evans tried to hit him in the chest, but as Sokol's going to the ground to give himself up, Evans hits him right in the head, helmet to helmet. So quarterback was saying, I'm done, I surrender, and Evans hit him right in the helmet.
Well, that would be a huge loss in the middle at that linebacker spot for Oklahoma if he is ejected from this game, because he'll have to sit out the first half of the Tulsa game. Game number 2 for Oklahoma.
It's going to be interesting to see if they feel like he still launched himself. You don't have to launch with both feet. I mean, you can launch your body, you know, even with one. It's going to be interesting to see how they determine this one.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Player is disqualified from the game.
Well, Jordan Evans from right here in Norman, Oklahoma. Dad Scott was a 3-time All Big 8 defensive end. He is going to watch the rest of this game
on TV in the locker room.
On TV in the locker room. He's not even allowed on the field.
15-yard penalty. And let's take a look at it. He's at the inside linebacker position. Sokol gives himself up, starts to try to slide, and Evans launches himself, in the official's opinion, and hits him helmet to helmet. You know, and Sokol changed his target, his aiming point, but Evans had already left his feet and couldn't change his.
Now they're going to explain it to Bob Stoops as Evans heads to the locker room again. Oklahoma, everybody's aware of the situation, very thin at middle linebacker. Caleb Gastelman, the senior out of Claremore, Oklahoma, who's had an outstanding camp, is a walk-on, absolutely loves OU football. He is next man up. We're waiting to see if he is indeed in the ball game.
Bob Stoops, I think, was telling the official, look, he was giving himself up. He was falling backwards. Officials aren't buying it.
Blake Martin in. Dixon still out. The ball is loose. It hit Hunter Lee.
Yes. The officials are saying Louisiana Tech recovered it. Oklahoma's saying they recovered it, but it is Louisiana Tech football, but it's going to set them off schedule. I mean, you know it's going bad. You know it's going bad when your motion man, as he comes in motion, he's going to get struck by the football. So right as he gets to the quarterback position, it hits him right in the hip. And that's panic. And that's good hustle by Sokol to get back on the football. Right on the left hip. Tackle pulling. Sokol and other players have to scramble for the football, and they do recover it. Good hustle, but it cost him yards and a down.
And it's 2nd down and 13, and the officials say, wait a minute, Louisiana Tech wants to talk about it.
First charge timeout, Louisiana Tech.
And they want to make sure everybody's on the same page. We'll take a timeout. 4 minutes and 1 second left in quarter number 1. Bob Stoops and company leading by a couple of touchdowns. The perfect beer for when you are up for whatever. Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma, along with Dave Lapham, Chad McKee. I'm Ron Thulin. Good to have you with us. Catch you up on things. Oklahoma impressive offensively. Defensively, Jordan Evans has been disqualified for a targeting call. Caleb Gastelman is in for him. And now Kenneth Dixon back in the backfield for Louisiana Tech. They try to get it to him. Almost picked off by Gastelman. Wow, that would have been a great play for the senior.
Well, he made a great drop, great read, and honestly, quarterback underthrows this football. I thought for a second, it could have been a touchdown. He had him beaten, and he didn't put enough air under it. Puts a little bit more air under it, it's a little bit of trouble, but he underthrows the football, and you got to give credit where credit's due. Good recovery and reaction by Gastelum. Almost a turnover. Should have been touchdown, or at least in the red zone if the quarterback puts enough air into that football.
Brings up a 3rd down and long situation. They need 13. On a quick pass to Sterling Griffin, he stood up at about the 39-yard line. Julian Wilson, nice job defensively. That'll bring up a 4th down and 8 situation if you're Skip Holtz. What do you do? A punt's not going to really help you a whole lot. I mean, you try to go for it?
No, I don't think you go for it. I don't know. I guess he might line up and kick a long field goal. He's going for a 51-yard field goal. If it's unsuccessful, they're going to get good field position again.
Jonathan Barnes, this is his first collegiate field goal attempt. A redshirt freshman from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Careful for the fake.
51-yarder.
Careful for the fake.
Ball's down. The kick is blocked. Picked up at the 40-yard line. Oklahoma will have possession at the 42-yard line.
Dallas Todd picked it up and returned it. And that's what happens on long field goals. Long field goals is a lot of times it's a low trajectory. You don't hit the wedge, you hit the 7-iron. And right up the gut comes the big down lineman. Get the hands up off the edge as well. And off the edge, the block is made
Sanchez
by Zach Sanchez. And it was Stryker that picked it up and returned it. He showed a little bit of running back ability there.
31st block kick for Oklahoma under Bob Stoops. We told you earlier he felt very good about his special teams. We see why now. So the Sooners now with great field position. P. Ryan is checked into the backfield for Oklahoma. Samaje P. Ryan, the freshman out of Pflugerville, Texas, gateway to Round Rock. This kid is just unbelievable. And this is his first carry. Bounces to the outside, showing the strength as he gets down to the 35. Bryce finally brings him down.
You know, they talk about his size, and he is thick, but he's got great feet and great vision. And what you have on a long field goal attempt is you know, trying to drive that thing. That's what cost him on the blocked field goal.
And P. Ryan again trying the left side. Let's see where they mark it. Samaje P. Ryan, 5'11", 243. They call him a man-child. When Charles Tapper first met him, he thought he was someone's dad.
Yeah.
What a rip.
At least they thought at least he was a junior college guy, and it started in junior college. This is a true freshman who is very, very advanced physically. And like I'm saying, he's got great feet, and he sees the football field. He's got tremendous vision as well. When he makes his cut, boy, he's coming at you.
Now, third down and about a foot for the Sooners. B. Ryan again just moves the pile inside the 30-yard line. Blake Bell, we've talked about him, the number of places he has lined up so far this evening. He's just doing a little bit of everything, isn't he?
Well, he's totally unselfish, and here he is on the end of the line of scrimmage, and he's blocking down on a defensive end. And let's see how he stays after. He's trying to finish that block. He's a willing blocker. He's changed his lifting habits. He's got big old deltoids now. Those shoulders have gotten a lot bigger. He's up to close to 260 pounds, and it's all about footwork and hand placement. And the more reps he gets, the more comfortable he's going to feel as an end line blocker.
Now Blake Bell lines up in the backfield along with Trevor Knight. Samaje P. Ryan this time has stood up. You know, getting back to Blake Bell and just the unselfishness of what he has done is saying, listen, you know, after the bowl, I don't mind going to tight end. Obviously, his father was a tight end. But when you look back at this will be probably one of the most unique careers in all of Oklahoma history, what he's done.
Well, look at Blake Bell looking to the sideline, and he has to determine the formation because he's lining up like, where's Waldo? Where's Blake Bell? He's lining up here, there, and everywhere. He has to, as a former quarterback, he's looking to the sideline and deciphering where they want him by formation.
Nice play action pass. Picked up Sterling Shepard, and a penalty flag is thrown.
Face mask.
I tell you, Trevor Knight, his play action, his fakes, the way he sets up in the pocket, very impressive tonight.
The running game is going pretty well. When you get that running game going, all of a sudden you fake the run and play action pass. Linebackers coming downhill, and you have huge cavities.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 21. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Tackles made by the face mask, and these two have been going at each other all night. Barnes and Shepard, the best two cornerbacks, are the two best players on the defense. And they thought Louisiana Tech felt like their cornerbacks could line up and match up with the Oklahoma receivers. So far, Shepard's having a good night. He's having his way.
How about Trevor Knight, 6 for 6, 76 yards, throwing the football tonight. That's a pretty good night. And Shepard, he's got a couple of catches. Bryce was the one who was down. And he is up under his own power and go off to the side. So the Sooners will have it. First and goal from the 5-yard line, already leading 14-0. Good look at Bryce.
Manny Diaz has his hands full because Oklahoma is very balanced. They're running it successfully. As a result of that running game, they're able to play action pass successfully. So they get you between a rock and a hard place then.
Ford, P. Ryan, and Flowers now in the backfield. That's a lot of load there, but this time Knight lofts it up into the end zone, incomplete, intended for Neal.
And again, they got the same look. Formation to the right hash mark, isolate a receiver all the way back to the left, and go one-on-one. No safety help, run the fade, airborne. It's pretty good job right there. The defender hit Liggins, another good cornerback, leveraged the play, and he took Neal to the sideline. He used the sideline as the 12th defender, and he has a right to that spot on the field as well. It was well played.
Those three guys in the backfield, that's over 700 pounds. Now Ford back in. First man throws. Ford straight ahead. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Keith Ford's second rushing touchdown tonight. He had one coming in for his career.
Savage did a good job of pulling around the horn from the guard position, a simple power play. And that downhill running back Ford loves to run the power play. Oklahoma creased him pretty well between the tackles there. Nice job up front.
Still in the third quarter, Oklahoma's Michael Honeycutt could make it a 21-0 game. 37 points away now from passing DeMarco Murray as OU's all-time leading scorer. And Skip Holtz knew he'd have problems tonight with Oklahoma's speed and a young offensive line, and it's showing.
Watch the lineman pull here. Little power play. Come around the horn. Get upfield. Find yourself something. Really can't find much. Yeah, finally get it. Finish it. Take him into the end zone. No, just follow big old Savage. Here he comes, double sevens. Get on that route 77. Just take it downhill. And the big boy looked like a snowplow.
Well, let's talk about that offensive line, Dave, because one of the things that you asked the coaches yesterday, what's the best part of your offense and defense? Bob Stoops did not hesitate. He said offensive line, defensive line.
I said, what's the strength of your team?
Yeah.
What's the strength of your team? And Bob Stoops said, offensive and defensive line.
And it's because they gelled so much, and they came into spring and during the offseason, all of them, and, you know, including Savage, everybody, they came in ready to play this year.
They've all played. They're all experienced. And the thing about them, they can play multiple positions. There's versatility, you know, and there's some diversity. And it's only going to help those guys. I think Bob Stoops and his coaching staff do a great job of not only teaching your assignment, but teaching the whole concept so you see the big picture. And you're able to play more than one position because you understand where your help is. You understand everything about your offense or defense. They're great teachers.
Let's see if King and Lee can return one, and not again. College football continues tomorrow night as the Mustangs of SMU square off against the Bears of Baylor from their new stadium, McLean Stadium in Waco, Texas, on the shores of the Brazos River. Coverage begins tomorrow at 6 p.m. on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. And you can also sailgate into that new stadium. Actually, come up in a boat.
How about that?
How about that? I like that. Kind of like Tennessee.
Can't hate that.
No.
Skip Holtz knows that he's got a challenge now, down 21-0 with still 33 seconds to play in the first quarter. Certainly don't want to get in a shootout, but it's already at 21 points on the board for the opposition.
Well, first down and 20, or first down and 10 from the 20 for Louisiana Tech. Blake Martin, nothing doing. Chad, you got an update on an injury for us.
Yeah, Kentrell Bryce, guys, went down just a moment ago. Walked off the field under his own power. We're told it's an upper leg injury, and his return is questionable as they work on him over on the table on the Bulldog sidelines.
Might have gotten one of those Charlie horses. You know, you get hit in the thigh and the upper leg. And he was definitely a little bit of hitching to get along, a little limp as you get off the field.
Marlon Seitz now also joins the backfield for Louisiana Tech. Sokol play action, rolling, trying to buy some time, has to throw it away, nothing doing. Good coverage by that Oklahoma defense. I think he was looking for Josh Gaston, and with that, the first quarter is in the books. The Oklahoma Sooners, 145 yards to 28 for Louisiana Tech, and they lead it as we head to quarter number 2, 21-0. Tonight's game is being brought to you by the Chickasaw Nation. Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma. Beautiful night. Temperature in the high 80s right now, along with Dave Lapham, Chad McKee. I'm Ron Thulin. And let's take a look at our American Energy Partners game summary. The Sooners 145 yards, but what stood out to us, Dave, was the balance.
Yeah,
145.
Yeah, just about 70 yards each way. I mean, it's been run, pass, balance, and balance within the balance because multiple players have been involved in those totals. And 145 yards to 28, and as a result, 21 points to zip.
Oklahoma had only 2 21-point quarters in 2013. Tonight is number 1 for 2014. Dixon not in. Blake Martin in at halfback. Sokol hit as he throws, picked off at the 45-yard line by Zach Sanchez.
Was it Stryker that hit him as he was releasing the football? He could not transfer his weight, and as a result of that, underthrew the football. Sanchez had great position and coverage, but the pressure's going to come, and it's going to be late pressure. It's going to hit Sokol as he's releasing the football. Inside rush right at the legs. He can't transfer his weight and throw the football. It's underthrown and thrown behind as a result, and Sanchez goes airborne. Let's take a look at the edge pressure. Up the football field, and then underneath, that's Grissom. Up the field and down underneath the football field. Oh, no, it's not Grissom. It's who was it? It was 82. 82, that's Obi. Obo. Obo Wankanobo.
I was waiting for you to say it first. Trevor Knight's going to go for the dagger right off the bat. Now he has to scramble, has some running room, and he will slide after picking up about 3. The Sooners, by the way, dating back to 2000, no team has more takeaways than Oklahoma. That is impressive.
I want to give Okoronkwo his just due, though. Number 82, the edge rusher for Oklahoma. Took it upfield, came up down underneath, and that's just good technique. He got the left tackle running and uses momentum against him, came underneath, hit on the quarterback.
Now Alex Ross in motion. Knight looks for him, swings it to him. Gets a block. Over the 40, over the 30-yard line, knocked out of bounds. First down, Oklahoma.
The young freshman.
Makai Quick.
I thought it was Meade. Meade got a block. Was it Meade or was it Quick? One of those young freshmen out on the perimeter did a pretty good job of more absorbing contact than delivering, but he got his body in front and created a lane out there. See the block? Yeah, it's Quick. It's Quick. He's up high. He's grabbing him around the helmet, and then down the field, Neal gets another block. Pretty good effort. The receivers have been blocking for each other out there on the edge.
Alex Ross now behind Trevor Knight, who changed things up at the line. 1st and 10 for the Sooners. On a roll again.
Oh,
Ross inside the 25, down to about the 23-yard line.
Tell you, the big, bad Oklahoma offensive line is starting to wear down Louisiana Tech already. They've been on the football field for a lot of snaps. Time of possession, number of snaps has to be unbelievable in favor of Oklahoma. They've put them in a meat grinder.
Oklahoma's over 2 minutes more offensively. Ross stays in the lineup, 2nd down and about 5. Ross, a little hesitation, and he gets his clock clean. Able to pick up about a half a yard. It looked like Vontarius Dora, the junior out of West Point, Mississippi, coming up to make that hit.
Easy Bo feet. Bo feet, the linebacker's getting a little bit of an altercation with Shed. I mean, Shed, that's a heck of a hit, though. And then at the end, Bo feet and Shed get a little bit. That's a smack.
It's getting a little dicey out there. Now Keith Ford checks back into the lineup for Oklahoma on 3rd down. They need 4 for the first. Louisiana Tech bringing a lot of guys to the line of scrimmage. Oh, reads it, rifling the pass to Quick. Couldn't get the hands on it. First incompletion for Trevor Knight tonight.
Trevor Knight goes right to Quick to talk about it and ask, was the ball in the right spot? Did you get your head around fast enough? I thought I delivered it where it was a catchable scenario. And Honeycutt, the potential All-American, only missed 3 field goals all season last year, and a lot of it was in inclement weather. I mean, he was Mr. Consistency.
This will be a 39-yarder. He was 14 of 15 last year from this distance. Already has 3 points, trying to make it 6 for tonight. Good snap, good hold. He has now made 8 in a row. dating back to last season. The best in the Big 12 Conference. Honeycutt extends Oklahoma's lead. 12:24 left in quarter number 2. Trevor Knight and company leading the Bulldogs of Louisiana Tech 24-zip. Oklahoma 36-2 versus non-conference opponents at home against Bob Stoops. They lead at 24-0, and Trevor Knight has had an outstanding night so far, Dave. He's done everything.
He really has. I mean, he's been extremely accurate. He's run the option. He's made great decisions there. Here he shows he can create and extend a play, get out in the perimeter, roll into his left, accurately back to the right. The fade pass to Shepard was outstanding right there and right on the money. His accuracy has been very, very sharp tonight. He's been on point, and I think it all starts with his footwork. He's really quickened his footwork, and I think it's paying big dividends for him. Once you get your feet started right, it's going to finish with your hands. That scoring drive, as we see, 6 plays, 24 yards.
All set up by Sanchez's interception. Nick Hodgson set to kick it away again to King and Lee. And again, they're not going anywhere. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Boys and Girls Clubs help young people to reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens through programs that promote character and leadership, education, healthy lifestyles, and more. For more information, visit foxsportssupports.com. Great cause.
Absolutely great cause. And Skip Holtz and his team, more so than Skip Holtz, because he knew this, and Manny Diaz and everybody knew it. You cannot simulate Oklahoma in practice against your respective offense and defense. If you could simulate Oklahoma in practice with their speed and athleticism, those kids would be playing at Oklahoma. I mean, you just don't have those kind of athletes. That's the bottom line. Oklahoma's athletes are, their X's are faster, quicker, stronger than the O's, you know?
So you defenses held this Louisiana Tech offense to 3 plays on 3 of their 4 drives. Sokol now gets it to Paul Turner, his first catch as a member of the Bulldogs. But Charles Tapper is right there. Dixon was back in the backfield. We were talking during the break that the man we talked about in the open, Kenneth Dixon, he had a 22-yard run, but hadn't done anything since that time.
No, and if you skip Holtz, you have to start to wonder, man, how long do I play my guys I'm going to be relying on all season long? Do I want to get them beaten up here at Oklahoma where, you know, when I get in my conference play, they're not going to be able to perform for me? That's the difficulty of scheduling these type of games.
Here comes the pressure. Sokol double pumps, then just throws it into the ground. Did a nice job holding on to it. He was looking for Trent Taylor. But the little pump fake gave him at least an opportunity.
Yeah, that route was taken away from him. Here comes Stryker off the edge. He's going to go airborne and make Sokol pull it back down. And Stryker said, oh, man, I could have had a pass defense if he didn't tuck that thing away.
Yeah. Brings up another 3rd down situation for Louisiana Tech. They need a dozen. They were 0 for 3 in quarter number 1. This is when Oklahoma just lets everybody loose. They hand it off to Dixon, and he is going to be dropped. First hit was by Dominique Alexander, who had an incredible season last year as a freshman, the sophomore from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Remember, the offensive line for Louisiana Tech only has 2 guys that have started in a college football game. The other 3, this is their first exposure to Division I college football, and it is a very, very difficult exposure. And Dixon really, he's explained it to Coach Holtz, I have nowhere to go. I mean, you know, they're in my backfield. I got to make my first cut in my own backfield, and I'm struggling.
Sterling Shepard standing back at the 36-yard line. He had a punt return for 17 and almost blocked. That rugby kick, they don't want any kind of return, but instead Oklahoma gets outstanding field position. The defense, though, of Oklahoma has been strong. 3 plays Louisiana Tech has had on 4 of 5 drives, and the Oklahoma defense has stuffed them. Sooners looking for their 5th win of the year, dating back to last season. They lead it 24-0 over Louisiana Tech. Good shot at Headington Hall, an incredible facility. With more on that, here's Chad McKee.
Indeed it is, Ron. It's just a little bit over a year old. Tim Headington, a former tennis player at the University of Oklahoma, gave the lead donation on that project, but it's got the Sam Bradford training table. Many former student athletes have gotten involved. You have basically 2 people per suite. You've got a kitchen area. You've got your own bathroom up there. It is state-of-the-art with theaters, game rooms, places that kids can be kids, basically, Headington Hall. And one of the great parts about it is people think it is strictly an athletic dormitory. That's not the case. The majority of the people who are housed in Headington Hall are non-athlete students at OU. It's just outside the southeast corner of the stadium. Wonderful show palace here at Oklahoma.
Oh, it's just gorgeous. That last room, by the way, you saw, I think, was Trevor Knight and his roommate Ty Darlington's room.
That's a game changer. There's no question about it. That's a game changer, Headington Hall.
Way too clean, that room. Way too clean. Knight going back to pass, and it's tipped. And it was intended for Neal. Let's take a look at OU's possession so far in this football game, because they have been very impressive. Touchdown their first 3 times they had the football, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, it's defensively, you know, you want to make the opponent every possession end in a kick. Well, it has, but it's been extra points and field goals. It hasn't been punts, you know, so Oklahoma has done an outstanding job of driving the length of the field, taking advantage of short fields. They've scored everywhere you can score.
On 2nd down and 10. Knight pulls up, and again the pass is tipped at the line of scrimmage. He was looking for K.J. Young.
And he had him. Looked like K.J. Young had some room to operate, but yeah, 2 times in a row, Trevor Young has had that ball deflected at the line of scrimmage. And you know, if you're not going to be able to hit the quarterback, you're taught to get your hands up and disrupt passing lanes, and that's exactly what they do. Good job.
Tony Johnson.
Tony getting airborne.
5th time Oklahoma's faced 3rd down. They've been successful on 2 of the first 4. Nice straight drop. Going deep over the middle. Wide open. Caught by Young. 1st down Oklahoma in Louisiana Tech territory. It covers 21 yards.
Coach is going to like this. In the slot, they want K.J. Young to be strong down the middle of the football field in their 3rd down sub package, and he came up with a big play. K.J. Young has big hands for his body type, and he showed it right there. They were almost like suction cups. That ball a little bit behind him. He had a great adjustment to the football and just like pillows when it hit his hands.
Long frame and arms for K.J. Young. This time Oklahoma facing 1st down at about the 41-yard line. Keith Ford, nothing doing, may have lost about a half a yard. Let's go back to that last play. Knight putting it right on the money again.
And Young is in the slot here, and he's going to run a route and find himself available and open. Ball behind him a little bit, makes a great adjustment to the football, and that it's like suction cups. Woof, gets those 2 big hands up in there and catches the back half of the football. That's good stuff.
2nd down and 10 for the Sooners. Knight will put it up again. And slipping and falling is Sterling Shepard. Never got the feet underneath him. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 10 situation.
Yeah, and I think that obviously that was a big factor in the ball being thrown wide. He's going to try to come back. That right foot or left foot slips right out from under him. Both feet do. As he tries to right himself. Can't do it.
But one of the goals coming into this year was being a better 3rd and long team. They have to convert more. And they're trying to convert here. Pass is going to be caught. Yes, it was caught by K.J. Young. It'll be short of the 1st down. He needed to get to the 31. Got to about the 33-yard line.
Yeah, he's going to be a little bit more aware of where the chains are. And he ran his route maybe a little bit short, but the thing is, like you said, Ron, on 3rd down, they were 39% conversion last year. They want to be closer to 50%, and a lot of the reason that they were a little bit subpar was because of their inadequacy on 3rd and long.
And it'll be 4th down and about 2. Aaron Ripkowski is checked into the lineup for Oklahoma. Big number 48, the junior out of Dayton, Texas. Handoff straight ahead to Ford, and he will get the 1st down inside the 30-yard line.
Nothing fancy there. That's just having faith in your offensive line. Say, 4th and 2, boys. Let's just come off the football, pull the big left guard shed. He gets a little kick-out block and off to the races.
And the ball is loose. Louisiana Tech says they have it. We'll wait for the official call. And they do. Dora comes up with a loose
Throwing
ball.
on the field was a fumble recovered by the defense.
Let's take a look at it.
Just slipped out of his hand.
Yeah, they're saying that it wasn't an incompletion. They said the ball came out of his hand as he's bringing it back. And when he comes forward, it's a good call. When he comes forward, it's empty hand. It just slips right out of Trevor Knight's hand as he's cocking his arm to throw that football. So at that point, it's a fumble. Now, if it had come out of his hand, bringing that hand forward at all, would have been an incompletion.
Oklahoma football on Fox Sports is brought to you by Bud Light, the perfect beer for when you are up for whatever. OU alumni, stay connected to your university by joining the OU Alumni Association today. Visit alumni.ou.edu for more details. And by Ford, brought to you by your Oklahoma Ford dealers. The Ford Summer Spectacular Sales Event now playing at a Ford dealer near you. Absolutely beautiful night for football in Norman, Oklahoma. The Sooners kicking off the 2014 season, their first turnover of the ball game. Of course, they already got a turnover with Zach Sanchez on the interception. And Louisiana Tech, 28 total yards so far in this ball game take over. Here is Dixon. He's had a 22-yard run, but since then, not a whole lot.
Yeah, I consider it an efficient running night when you average 4 yards or more on 60% of your carries. Dixon has had 1 carry. This is the second one where it's been 4 yards or more. Now he's got 6 carries for 24 yards. 22 of them came on 1 lug. So the other 5 carries, he's got a mere 2 yards.
That's not good. That's not what Skip Holtz needs for this offense. We said at the top of the show, they were concerned about generating offense. Now we see why. Again, it is Dixon, and again, look at the count the jerseys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 around him.
And look where he had to make his first cut.
Yeah.
Once again in his own backfield. The only time he made his first cut beyond the line of scrimmage, he ripped it for 22 yards. I don't care how talented the running back is. If you don't get him to the line of scrimmage, it's tough duty. I mean, if you have to make 2 or 3 cuts just to gain positive yards, it's going to be a long night. And this Oklahoma defensive football team, they are so confident in their defensive configuration and understanding it now. They didn't know what they didn't know when they first installed it last year. Now they get it.
Absolutely. 3rd down and 5. Louisiana Tech 0 for 5 on 3rd. Pump fake by Sokol. Throws pass. Great defensive play. Again, that Sooners secondary stepping in. Hatari Bird. Nice job knocking it away.
Yeah, Bird flew in there and made the play, boy. It was big time. He got in there and closing that thing, a little recognition, get the left hand in there, knock it away. That's perfect timing right there. Good job by Hatari Bird. Sometimes Bird thinks a little bit too much instead of reacts. That time, tremendous reaction. And boy, on the opposite side of the field, a lonesome soldier out there, Sterling Griffin, saying, what about me? You don't like me anymore?
Sterling Shepard again. Standing back at about the 25-yard line. The rugby kick, and Shepard says, get away from it. And they do. So they've only been able to return 1 punt. Shepard has for 17. This punt carries 13 or 35. When we come back, it'll be the Sooners ball leading 24-zip. Welcome back to Oklahoma football, leading Louisiana Tech. Tonight's game brought to you by Chickasaw Nation. 7:14 left to play in the opening half.
Well, they've done it all kinds of ways. Ford bounces this one outside run, 22 yards untouched. He scores in touch football. And then you get an isolation. Shepard on cornerback. You're going to throw the fade. Nice play. And here, Ford with some power. Get behind Savage. Crunch it into the end zone from 5 yards out. So they've shown speed, power, agility. Everything that Bob Stoops wants to see. They've attacked Louisiana Tech in all phases and have produced.
Well, what I like about Bob Stoops and what he has done, he's never been tied to just one offense. You go back to, let's say, when Adrian Peterson played. They ran the ball a lot. 2011, they went to the 4 wide receiver set because they really didn't have a tight end. Last year, a little more zone reads. This year, they've even morphed even more. Pretty impressive.
He tailors it to his personnel. I mean, like all great coaches do.
Knight swings it out to the left side. Sterling Shepard on the catch. And that'll be close to the first down. Gets close to the 38-yard line.
Boy,
that'll be his third reception of the evening.
Again, 2 great blocks on the perimeter. Neal had a great block, and Dimitri Flowers did as well. They are doing a phenomenal job. If they're not touching the football on the edge, they're blocking for the one that is.
Back to the ground with P. Ryan. He gets the first down and runs over people up to the 45-yard line. Lavander Liggins is the one who felt the thump early on.
Yeah, P. Ryan, he's going to get everything that he can get. He's going to run through you if he can't run around you. He lowers the shoulder pads. Boy, that's just a... It's like, yeah, I know this is my first game in NCAA competition, but I'll tell you what, Liggins, I'm going to put a lick on you, Liggins.
Liggins felt that. He's going to be in the Tub Club tomorrow. P. Ryan, 5 carries, 21 yards already. First down, Oklahoma. Alex Ross able to pick up a couple close to the 48-yard line.
You know, once again, we were talking about Bob Stoops, and it amazes me. Never lost 2 regular season games in a row. That tells me that he never gets too high, never gets too low. He believes in himself and his system. And as a result of that, his players do. I mean, you take your lead from your head coach, and I'll tell you, the guy has it figured out. He really does.
And this offense puts so much pressure on the defensive line and also the Sam linebacker. As Dave mentioned earlier in the telecast, they just keep coming at you. Knight, the quick release, passes complete to Neal. He will get the first down at about the 40-yard line for Oklahoma.
He's probably saying, thanks very much. It's about time. I've been blocking my tail off out here on the edge. I've been blocking for everybody else. Throw me the pig one time. Let me see what that feels like. Nice job by Neal. And I'll tell you, the receivers, to me, are very, very complete. And when you see them block the way they block when they don't have the football, that's totally unselfish.
Knight 11 for 16, 142 yards and a touchdown. P. Ryan back in the backfield for Oklahoma on first down. And he's got it. Looks for the block, cuts back, breaks a couple of tackles, gets into the secondary down to the 25-yard line. Bryce, who was injured earlier in the ball game, comes up with a tackle.
Boy, he finishes. He finishes hard. And how about Flowers? You got one freshman blocking for another. Flowers has the kick-out block. P. Ryan patiently waits for Flowers to get the kick-out block. Watch the kick-out. P. Ryan waits, kick him out, get upfield. Now finish, big boy. Run through tackles. Get after people. I'll tell you what, that's 2 freshman running backs that have a bright future for the Sooners.
Absolutely. And P. Ryan now with 35 yards on 6 carries. And the Sooners with another first down in the ball game. That's number 16 already. P. Ryan again, straight up the middle. Down to about the 22-yard line. Chad, you've been around him a lot. What's your impression of him?
Well, my impression of him is he could lift half the stadium if he wanted to. You know, they've taken to calling Keith Ford Bam Bam after the old Flintstones character. Samaje Perine has been dubbed the Tonka Truck.
Really? I like that.
Yeah, so maybe you guys can come up with another nickname for him, but that's the one that he has temporarily been given.
You know what I like about him? A lot of guys can lift half the stadium. They just can't find it. He's smart enough to find it every day.
I'd call him Sir. Here's P. Ryan again, straight ahead, standing up defensive back. Bryce could not bring him down. Good enough for the first down again.
Well, I'll tell you, when you put him behind this offensive line, it's a bunch of bullies out there. I mean, they're just getting after people. The offensive line, nothing fancy here. Just come off the football and get it done. And Bell comes to try to do a little counter trap. He doesn't really get himself inside out position-wise. Gets enough of block to get P. Ryan going, though, and that's all he needs. If he crosses the line of scrimmage, it's dangerous now.
Well, got one player that's down on one knee, Kentrell Bryce. He was injured earlier in the ball game, and they're standing over him now. They're going to come out and look at him again. This will be the 8th play of Oklahoma's drive, and Kentrell Bryce has taken a couple of shots because of Oklahoma's runners, and
this has all been in the ground. Isn't it all in the ground? Have they thrown it? I can't remember them throwing it. Yeah, they did. They hit Neal.
They hit Neal once.
Yeah, they hit Neal. But, I mean, mostly it's been, you know, just get after it and see what you can do pounding the football.
Well, Skip Holtz, I'll tell you, one of the nicest guys you'd ever be around. Just so cordial with all of us, and the entire Louisiana Tech staff has been. And we do thank you, gentlemen. But
Absolutely.
he knew coming in it was a tall order against the Sooner team.
No question.
1st and 10 for Oklahoma again. He forward, right side, spinning down to the 5-yard line. He already has a couple of rushing touchdowns. Looking for number 3.
Yeah, they're just getting confidence by the snap here. The offensive line starting to swell their chest up and roll people off the football here. And
Oklahoma hustles it up again. Maybe getting back to the line of scrimmage. That's all there was there. Ford didn't get a whole lot on that.
And this is what Manny Diaz was talking about. The tempo. Oklahoma gets up to the line of scrimmage and runs plays so fast. They end up beating you with simple plays.
Yeah.
Inside, outside zone. You know, a little power pull the offensive lineman. It's nothing they haven't seen, but they're so exhausted physically and mentally. They might not get lined up right, hit the right gap. They just wear you down both areas before the snap and after the snap.
Well, 3rd down and 1, you just can't get your eyes right. Blake Bell was in the backfield. Now he goes to the tight end position. Knight straight ahead handoff to Ross. That'll be good enough for a 1st down, and the Sooners now will have 1st and goal.
And now they're just playing keep away. You know, it's like, all right, we're just going to we're decided that now we're just going to attack you between the tackles for the most part in this drive and show our little power running play.
And this is the 10th play of the drive, and Knight will put it up, looking, throwing, incomplete, looking for Blake Bell. That would have been his first touch of the ball game.
Blake Bell slow to get up. Teammate Ripkowski helps him. He's got a big old divot in his grill.
My gosh, what did he get, a little wedge in there or something?
I mean, he took a lot of turf. That's a souvenir right there. That would
fix your divot, though, you know?
Exactly. You got to replace all divots. This one, he almost makes a one-handed catch. He's got muckers on him. Almost pulls it in with that one hand. But pass interference anyway.
Number 11. The foul occurred in the end zone. Ball be placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic 1st down.
Lloyd Grogan is 6'1". And Blake Bell is 6'6". He's got to have some dirt in his eye and his mouth after picking up all that divot.
Well, Scott Anderson, the longtime trainer here at Oklahoma, following him over, making sure he's okay. I was at practice Thursday, and Bell had a one-handed catch that even Bob Stoops, who was standing next to me, we both just went, wow. It was so impressive.
We started at the 2-yard line. We'll go half the distance to the 1.
He's definitely a legitimate threat. And, you know, talking about it in the open, I want to see this guy in the red zone. That's exactly where that was. And I think he'll make a lot of contested catches for the Sooners this year.
Alex Ross behind Knight. He's got it. Touchdown, Oklahoma.
Too big, too strong. Power football on that drive. Nothing fancy. Just run it at you. See if you can stop us. And Louisiana Tech couldn't.
Alex Ross, his first rushing touchdown as an Oklahoma Sooner. He only had 3 rushes last season. And he's got the score tonight. So the running backs, we've got Ross with 1, Ford with a couple. Honeycutt's having a field day. He's going to have to ice down when this is all over.
Yeah, his right leg's about 2 inches longer than his left now.
11 plays, 72 yards, 4:55 was the drive. This is just the big fellas just moving the pile.
Yeah, it is. Just coming off the ball. Look at the interior of the line of scrimmage is knocked backwards, and running back running with good leverage. Get the shoulders down, finish. He went in there with some angriness to him. Wanted to get that touchdown.
You know, we were walking in the locker room the other day. We saw the new uniforms that are on display in there. Chad, you've got more on that.
Uniforms at Oklahoma have remained virtually unchanged for about 40 years, but the uniforms that will be debuted at some time to be determined later, don't know exactly when that is. They pay homage to the Bud Wilkinson era of Sooner football. You know, they have Oklahoma on the front instead of Sooners, a cream helmet, and then there's a road uniform that includes a helmet, white stripe down the middle of the traditional helmet, and a black face mask. It'll be worn with a white jersey and crimson pants. Again, no specific date or time for when those will be unveiled. Sooner fans are a little hesitant to welcome uniform changes, but those look pretty good, guys.
Hey, Chad, you know what? By the way, your uniform tonight looking very dapper.
Yeah, really.
I like
appreciate
that.
it. Yeah, it's kind of a throwback itself.
You're looking GQ, bro.
No, looks a little like Vegas, doesn't it? I mean, it's like.
I'll take that. It's a little warm as well.
Yeah, come on, lose the jacket. Seriously, you're among friends here, you know. And Hodgson again has not had a kick returned yet tonight, and that trend will continue. 2 minutes and 19 seconds left to play in the opening half. You know, last year there was a lot of talk about Bob Stoops becoming the overall winningest coach in Oklahoma history, and he did that. He passed the legendary Barry Switzer. I had to say legendary. Switzer pays me every year to say that.
He definitely an icon. There's no question. I mean, Barry Switzer. Whew, everybody in the world knows Barry Switzer coached Oklahoma and Dallas.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's exactly right. But you look at what Bob has done in his 16 years, and you brought it up to him yesterday about, you know, being here 16 years, but you think about Joe Castiglione, David Bourne, the president, Bob Stoops. That's the original BCS, I think. I'll give Chris Lincoln up in Tulsa credit for that one. Dixon on the run. But the consistency he's had with not only those above him as far as the administration is concerned, but also just the staff.
Yeah.
And Bob told us, he goes, I'm blessed. He was just flat out to us yesterday.
To me, Oklahoma under Bob Stoops is all about the 3 C's: consistency, continuity, and chemistry. You know, and Bob's not an I, me guy. He's a we, us guy. And that creates the it factor. You know when you have it, you know when you don't. And when you have it, you don't want to lose it. And that's what they've got going with this football team. And it all starts with President Boren, Athletic Director Castiglione, and Head Coach Stoops.
And Chad, you've got more on that, huh? Maybe not. Sokol's pass. Intended for Paul Turner, made the catch at about the 34-yard line. Chad, we were talking about Bob Stoops, and you spent a lot of time with him. Your thoughts?
I was headed right where Dave was headed. The trio of Joe Castiglione, the athletics director, and President David Bourne and Bob Stoops, all 16 years. That's such a rarity in college football these days. A president, an athletic director, or certainly a head football coach would move on after 16 years. So it's a unique situation.
Well, it's third down for Louisiana Tech. They need 2. They're 0 for 6 on third down this evening. Sooners going to bring some people in. Here they come. Sokol hit as he throws, but it is complete. Complete down to the 45-yard line. Trent Taylor, how did Sokol get that off?
Boy, just got it off. I mean, an eyelash got it off because he was hit from the blind side once again. He doesn't see it coming. He doesn't feel it. And that blitz off the edge got to him, but he had just gotten rid of the football. That's a nice play. Sokol hung in there like a lot of courage there.
23 yards, longest play of the evening for Louisiana Tech. Griffin with the reception. Clock goes inside of 40 seconds. Louisiana Tech trying to get something on the board for Skip Holtz.
Sterling Griffin, a rarity. He's a 6-year player, was granted another year of eligibility, and Coach Holtz was excited about that. This kid can play.
Injured in 2010, injured in 2012. Coaches tell us he's just a good guy, and now it's 2nd down and 4. Sokol just swings it out to the near side to Dixon. Seeing that power as he gets down to the 30, the clock will stop. Another first down for Louisiana Tech. Jordan Thomas on the stop.
Dixon's a competitive guy. There's no question about it. And he does not shy away from contact.
And Sokol has hit his last 4 passes in a row.
Skip Holtz is telling his guys to take a little break to catch their breath, get a little bit of a water break. I'll tell you right now, he wants to finish this.
Yeah.
He would love to get points on the board. There's only 30 seconds to go to the half. He's down 31. He would like to have something positive to go into the locker room to talk about, you know, just before the half. And that's just a heck of a play by Sokol. Stood in there courageously, took a hit, and delivered the ball with some accuracy. And then you have to make a good tackle to curtail the journey. Pretty good run after catch by Trent Taylor. 5'8". Trent Taylor, they got 5'7" and 5'8" receivers out there. Smurfs.
Definitely that. I want to remind you, coming up in the Ford halftime report, we'll have an excellent feature for you on the special relationship between Trevor and his twin brother, Connor Knight. Plus, we'll hear from OU President David Bourne. That's all coming up in a few minutes on the Ford halftime report. And a little stat here about halftime. Oklahoma's won 42 consecutive games when they've led at half. Second best in the country to Oregon, who's got 60 in a row coming into this weekend. Sokol's pass over the middle should have been picked off. Intended for Hunter Lee. But Ahmad Thomas had a great shot at it.
Ahmad Thomas might be the best tackler on the back end. And Ahmad Thomas will be upset that he didn't make the play because it was there for him. He got his head turned around a little bit late, but he had plenty of time to make an adjustment on the football. He got his right hand on it, but that was it. He gets pass broken up, but he wanted the pick.
And it's 25 seconds left in the half. Second down and 10. Ball on the 31-yard line. Cody Sokol, his first collegiate start for Louisiana Tech. Rifle in the pass.
Wow, nice.
Beautiful pass. And they're saying it's a catch down to the 13-yard line. Trent Taylor again. All 5'8" of them out of Shreveport, Louisiana.
Boy, he put that ball perfectly. I mean, dropped a dime in there. Over one defender to the outside, right at the sideline where only Taylor could make a play on the football. You talk about threading the needle. Sokol did that time. Great touch.
19 seconds left to play. One timeout for Louisiana Tech here in the first half. Sokol running away from the pressure, looking, throwing it away. Intended for Paul Turner.
Yeah, I think they may have to start moving the pocket intentionally. It was a little after the play action going on there with Stryker and others.
And now the officials are talking to both teams. They're telling Oklahoma, get on your side. Louisiana Tech, get on your side of the ball. Second down and 10, 13 ticks left on the clock. Ninth play of the drive for Louisiana Tech. This is their longest drive of the evening.
And Sokol almost put his team in jeopardy with that throw. You have to make smart decisions in the red zone.
Three wide receivers to the left. Look from behind. He is going to be dropped. Back at the 19-yard line, Matt Diamond is the one who led the charge. First sack of the evening.
Stryker had the initial surge. He ducked Stryker, and his teammate cleaned up.
Louisiana Tech, 30-second timeout.
Stryker's going to come off the edge, and he's going to get the initial pressure, and that ducks away from him. Teammate finishes.
Clock operator, please reset the game.
Stryker up here on the edge, beats the left tackle right away. Tries the horse collar tackle, doesn't get it done, but teammate there to finish it up, and that's Matt Diamond.
Diamond, the sophomore out of Katy, Texas. But Stryker, you know, there's a good look at Big Matt, 6'2", 271 pounds. Had that block punt in the Kansas game, ended in a safety last season. But we talked, and Chad talked about it at the beginning of the game, that every time Cody Sokol goes to the line, he's got to play, where's 19? Stryker is all over the place. Chad, you had an excellent report to start the game off about Stryker.
Eric Stryker's mom is in law school down in Florida. She's on a break right now, hoping to see Eric's first 3 games. He says that he gets his relentlessness and his humility from his mom.
Well, Jonathan Barnes will try a 36-yard field goal. He's had 1 blocked, and this one is good. The redshirt freshman from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, gets his first collegiate field goal. A 36-yarder, and Louisiana Tech gets on the board.
Well, obviously, best drive of the game by far occurs right before the half. You know, that'll give Coach Holt something to talk about in a positive vein at halftime. But realistically, you know, he knows he's he's in a battle that is a total uphill climb right now. But I'll tell you, this guy is always positive. I mean, his whole coaching philosophy and mentality is coach the positive, and his players really respond to him. They look at him as almost their favorite uncle. You know, they don't want to let the guy down.
I mean, here's a guy that took over a team last season. He inherited a team in 2013 that lost 35 seniors. 7 of them were invited to the NFL camps. And last year, so that made last year a very difficult season for him.
You know, we watched their practice yesterday when they came to the stadium, and obviously the players came in and they were unbelievably impressed and almost in awe of the surroundings here at this facility. And then he had a very, very fun practice that kept the players extremely loose going into this football game. And that was his thought process, and his philosophy is, don't let these guys come in all tight. Let them have some fun, and they did yesterday.
First kickoff for Louisiana Tech tonight, and they're going to squib it. Oklahoma will get it at the 30-yard line as the clock moves down to 0. Oklahoma will have the ball to begin the second half, but in the first half it was all Oklahoma. 270 yards, 89 yards for Louisiana Tech. The Sooners lead at 31-3. When we return, the Ford Halftime Report will have a feature on Trevor and Connor Knight. Plus, we'll talk live with OU President David Bourne. You are watching Oklahoma Sooners football on Fox Sports. Oklahoma football on Fox Sports is brought to you by Patriot Ford, home of Patriot of the Game. OU Medicine, located in the heart of Oklahoma City, OU Medicine is on the leading edge of medical research and innovation. OU Medicine, a proud sponsor of Sooner Athletics. And by OU Outreach, your degree is within reach with OU Outreach. Visit OUOutreach.org. Oklahoma led 21-0 at the end of the first quarter of play. They lead 31-3 at halftime. They are 5-0 in August under Bob Stoops, and opponents in that time have only scored a total of 32 points. That's Dave Lapham. I'm Ron Thulin. One of the things that Bob Stoops and company told us when we were here for the spring game, they wanted to be more efficient throwing the football. I think that's a check mark as far as tonight is concerned.
I agree with you, Ron. I mean, they were very, very balanced offensively. And they were balanced within the balance because they had a lot of guys contributed. And Bob Stoops is in a position here at Oklahoma where he's cultivating depth. He's got starters in waiting. He doesn't have backups. He has starting caliber players in waiting for an opportunity.
Well, let's take a look at some of the highlights because the highlights show just how balanced they were in that opening half.
Right on, Ron. Here it's a 22-yard touchdown run from Ford, and nobody touches him. That's domination up front. Then you go to the air. You got your best receiver, Shepard, on an island, one-on-one. I'm going to throw the fade. And it's pretty spectacular stuff. Defensively, a takeaway. I mean, they just shut things down on that end of it as well. Stryker with the pressure, and I mean, they just swarmed all over Louisiana Tech. And, you know, as you look at the balance within the balance I was talking about, you got a quarterback who's spectacular, running back, not just Ford, others as well. P. Ryan comes to mind. P. Ryan was tough, and Shepard led the pack at the receiver corps. So they got it done every way you can get it done. And statistically overall, Ron, I mean, they were in pretty good shape there as well, showing the balance. You know, they look at you rush for 128 and throw for 142. That dog will hunt right there, you know, and averaging over 6 yards a play, and your defense holds them to a mere 3 yards per play. Look at the third down conversion, 1 for 7.
And those are our Ford halftime statistics. Now, one of the players that we've been keeping an eye on throughout the entire first half is Eric Stryker. We've seen him move around a lot. We've seen him not necessarily make plays, but force plays.
Yeah, I agree with that, Ron. And you know, the thing, you see Bell moving around, you see Stryker, you see a lot of guys moving around. Position, versatility, and flexibility. What you have is, in this coaching staff, a bunch of teachers, and they taught Eric Stryker well. He's got a great abundance of physical talent. You know, he can come off the edge with some speed, but he also has that natural dip, and he'll cut the corner on you. He'll make that edge very, very short. And he's a very, very physical player. He loves contact. He can be dominant. There's no question. In the Sugar Bowl, he dominated an offensive tackle that went in the second round to Buffalo, and Stryker's the real deal.
Absolutely, he is. Now let's take a look a little bit ahead and think about the second half here. For Oklahoma, how long do you play Trevor Knight? Obviously, you know, you're outmanning him offensively, but how long do you play him? And what do you try to accomplish, not only offensively, but also defensively?
Well, you know, talked about the fact that they're so deep. Why not give a lot of players an opportunity to grow a little bit, give them some snaps? They have tremendous depth. They probably feel good about, you know, 30 players on both sides of the football. On the flip side of it, Skip Holtz feels good about his 11 and not his depth. So that's going to be a tough deal. Oklahoma will run number 2s in there. That won't be as a big major drop-off from the number 1s. And Louisiana Tech's going to be struggling and you know, physically and mentally with fatigue. I want to say, though, about the coaches for Oklahoma, they're teachers, just like any coaches. Right. And the faculty that Bob Stoops has assembled, you know, starting with his brother Mike, and there's trust there. There's more trust with brothers, true brothers, than anybody. Those guys are unbelievable teachers. And now they're not just teaching the assignments to the players. They're teaching them why. You know, you're doing this because of all this other stuff that's going on around you. When the players see the big picture, and Mike Stoops, from year 1 to year 2 of this defensive installment,
that's right.
Now his players understand why they're where they're supposed to be.
There's Jay Norvell.
Same way. His players understand route concepts, not just my route, but who's clearing out, who's taking the safety away from me so I can run my route appropriately and run it with precision.
And there's Jay Boulware, coaches the tight ends, was an outstanding player in his own mind. Had a great chance to visit with him on Thursday, but it's all headed up by that man. And for Oklahoma, this is impressive. 44 snaps in the first half, only 1 went for negative yards, and that was the fumble by Trevor Knight, who just lost the handle on the football.
And it wasn't due to pressure or hits or anything else. The ball just slipped out of his hand as he was cocking to throw the football down the field. Cocked that elbow, and the ball fell out of there. So it's just one of those unfortunate circumstances.
And Oklahoma will get the ball to begin the second half. Alex Ross on the near side. And it's about 7 yards deep, and he'll take a knee. So the Oklahoma Sooners will come off on the field with their first offensive possession of the second half.
And that's the benefit you get from deferring when you win the coin toss. You know, you get the ball to start the second half. A lot of times, you know, you'll end the first half with an offensive possession and get the ball right back to start the second half. Wasn't the case this time, but that's a good strategy, particularly when you have a dominant defense like the Sooners do.
And Trevor Knight, 5-0 when he took the first snap of a football game last season. Back in at quarterback. And we've got a little stoppage of play. They move it over the hash mark. Keith Ford will begin the second half in the backfield.
You know, you look at Trevor Knight, Ron, he still is maturing with every snap. He's only played 5 games. That's not a big body of work.
And he'll put it up. First play of the second half, complete. It's up to about the 27-yard line. They'll mark it, and it's Dimitri Flowers, the very talented freshman out of San Antonio, Texas, which is interesting because he went to Churchill High School in San Antonio. Knight went to Reagan High School in San Antonio. Arch rivals. Now they're teammates.
Well, Flowers has got some smarts. He's gifted. He's mature. You know, you start comparing him to Millard like Bob Stoops is as a true freshman, that's high praise.
Emptying the backfield, 3 wide receivers left side.
Got him.
Knight goes down the middle. Pass is complete to Keith Ford, who takes a wallop at the 40-yard line by Kentrell Bryce. But he holds on. Picks up 28 on the play.
I thought that could have been helmet to helmet potentially, but I guess Bryce hit him in the shoulder. But boy, that's pretty close. He didn't target him, but it was high hit, that's for sure. And Ford does a good job, shows some toughness to secure that football. The coaches bring him out of the game, but to catch it and take a pop like that and not spit the pig, pretty nice stuff.
And now Alex Ross comes back into the lineup. Ford with 3 catches tonight. His first 3 of his Oklahoma career for 47 yards. Knight putting it up again. Down the middle, has a man. Complete inside the 15. Down to the 14 to Deron Neal. That covered 30 yards.
Well, when you run the football like Oklahoma has successfully as they have, watch the play action. Look at the separation. Nobody is impairing the vision of Knight. He can scan the whole field. Neal runs a good route, gets inside leverage, and Knight puts it right on that number 5.
Another first down, ball at about the 15-yard line. And they'll keep it up in the air to Shepard. Tries to spin away. Gets down to about the 7-yard line. And that's career catch number 100 for Sterling Shepard.
When I watch Knight this opener as opposed to last season's opener, his footwork's so much better.
10 times better. On the ground, touchdown Oklahoma on the opening drive. Alex Ross, his second of the ball game.
They've had 2 touchdowns from distance that nobody laid a fingernail on them. I mean, obliteration. You know, Ford had one. Now Ross has got one. And neither time did they even have to make a cut. I mean, there's nobody. Watch the lead block by Flowers, but boom, and it's off to the races. Offensive line dominates. I mean, that hole is 2 axe handles, 15 axe handles wide, really.
Well, Blake Bell had a pretty decent block on that run also. And the extra point by Honeycutt is good. So the Sooners take 1 minute and 29 seconds to get on the board first here in the second half. An impressive drive, a combination of throwing, catching, running. Sooners lead at 38-3. Alex Ross, the sophomore out of Jenks, Oklahoma, his 3rd year at OU, gets his 2nd touchdown run of the night. Let's take a look at the highlights on that drive.
Well, you know, you get your quarterback and he's rolling a nice touch pass down the football field, and now you're off to the races. Play action pass. Look at number 31 right there. Pinson, the linebacker, bites hard. Big cabbage between linebacker and safety. Then off to the races. Flowers, lead block. You score from that far out without anybody even contesting. That's domination up front. And if this were an NFL preseason game, the coach would say, okay, seen enough. Number ones, you're done. You came out of the locker room.
Yeah.
You cooled down. You warmed back up. You kicked their tail. Let's put in the reserves. And I think we're going to see some guys battling for more opportunity to expand their role play here down the stretch.
Well, our Ford scoring drives have been impressive, and kind of put this in perspective for Trevor Knight. He started the game 6 for 6 for 76 yards and a touchdown. On that drive, he was 4 of 4 for 67 yards.
Whatever they're doing or giving him to come out of the locker room, keep it up, because he's coming out perfect.
That's right. I mean, and you want to start the game like that because you're instantly in rhythm. Hodgson has had a nice night, and nobody has returned to kick yet. He's kicking into a pretty stiff breeze now. This will be the first return from about the 7-yard line. It's Tevin King. All 5'7", 160 pounds of him. Was a running back his first year at Louisiana Tech. Got banged up so much they moved him to wide receiver this year.
And obviously his deal is get him the ball in space, and he can make some people miss.
Now Cody Sokol had a nice drive to end the half, which ended up in 3 points. The junior out of Scottsdale, Arizona, in his 5th year, was named the starter on Monday. Highly recruited out of junior college, went to Iowa, was slated to be the starter, lost his starting position, then transferred this year to be part of Skip Holtz's team. 1st and 10. Nice defensive job again. Dixon corralled by Jordan Phillips, not getting any room. You talked about Phillips in that first half and the back surgery. This guy, though, is a difference maker.
Oh, there's no question. I mean, not only is he a big human being, he's an agile human being. And that's a tough combination. I mean, he can two-gap an elephant, and he can make the elephant miss, too. So he's pretty good talent. He is definitely a force to be reckoned with. He pushes the interior of the offensive line backwards with regularity.
Well, he's got a couple of tackles tonight. Sokol will put it up, looking left, being chased. Out of the pocket, and he's not going to go anywhere. He's going to lose about 4 yards on the play. Great pressure again by this OU defensive line. Well, Chuka Ndulue, he is the one who started it.
The problem is you get a little bit of a blitz pickup problem by Dixon. And Dixon's going to come right here after the fake, and he misses. And there's the pressure. Now Sokol's in trouble, and Dixon's trying to make himself available for Sokol to dump it off to, but Dixon he wasn't firm enough in his blitz pickup, and that disrupted the entire timing of the play.
And Jordan Phillips getting a little break here as Louisiana Tech facing 3rd and 13. Ball's on the 16-yard line. Sooners only bring 4. Pressure coming. Sokol throws it too hard to Dixon. He felt the pressure coming from the 4-man rush.
Yeah, and he threw a high, hard one there. No, he can get the ball out of his hand quickly, but man, I'll tell you what, this guy got it out of his hand too quickly that time. He feels it, and he knows he's got to get rid of it, and too much height on that football and too much juice.
And Stryker going off the field. It looked like he was limping a little bit, but it seems to be okay. And Sterling Shepard has a 17-yard punt return, standing back at his 41, and He'll have a chance to return this from the 38, right up the middle. Inside the 45, down to about the 43-yard line. And we've got a timeout after the 18-yard punt return. Sooners lead at 38-3.
Sooner football on Fox College Sports is brought to you by the Chickasaw Nation. 11:43 to play in the third quarter. 38-3. The Sooners now leading Louisiana Tech in the season opener. And we are pleased to be joined now, the women's gymnastics coach, national championship winning women's gymnastics coach, KJ Kindler at the University of Oklahoma. What have the 3 months since you won the national championship been like for you?
Crazy. You know, we've loved every minute of it. They earned it, and it's been great fun.
You lost 5 seniors off last year's squad, but you still have Haley Skaman, Kara Levon, Miliana Kaneva, Keely Kamichik, just to name a couple. So the cupboard is nowhere near bare, is it?
No, not at all. We bring back some great All-Americans, and we have an incredible freshman class, so we are ready.
You set the bar high by winning a national championship, so what are expectations for next year? Is it to carry that on?
Of course. Of course. We've never done this, so this is a huge accomplishment for our program, and obviously we want to do it again. Now that you've tasted it, you want to do it again. You
had a huge celebration for the national championship with all your gymnasts, families last night here in Norman. What was that like?
It was amazing. It was an amazing night. I'm just so honored to have coached these young women, and they're such amazing people, so we're excited.
Well, we appreciate you spending us a couple of moments. You've got all your ladies here tonight being honored. Congratulations once again, and enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, back up to you.
All right, thank you so much, Chad. Oklahoma beginning in Louisiana Tech territory for the 3rd time in 8 drives. Ross carried on the first one, incomplete pass on the second. Just following up, Oklahoma has a great tradition in gymnastics, going back to when Paul Zert was the men's coach, and he had a gymnast, gosh, that kid's name, Connor. Oh, yeah, Bart Connor. I remember that guy.
Not bad.
Sorry, Bart. He and, of course, Nadia Comaneci have a gymnastics center here in Oklahoma City.
Ron, right here is a true freshman receiver that stands 6'6" and weighs 184 pounds. And his name, Jeffrey Mead. And Zach and Trevor Knight tried to go to him. They were on different pages, but this guy has got a big catching radius.
On 3rd down, Knight, nice little touch pass over the top. Incomplete. Pass was intended for Mead again. Watching Mead in practice on Thursday and Friday, he's 6'6", 184 pounds, but he glides for a guy that size and that young.
He is. He's smooth. He's very fluid. He gets in and out of his cuts. He can sink his hips and get in and out of them, but right now he looks like a praying mantis. He's got to get in the weight room a little bit and, you know, beef it up, but he's got some potential to really expand that frame. He's got a big frame, just build it up a little bit. Very talented, though.
Well, Jed Barnett, senior out of Camas, Washington. He's going to kick it away.
Too much time?
Got a flag. And it must be too much time.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll listen in, see what the call is.
Legal substitution. Defense, 12 in formation. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Well, if you're losing 38-3 in the 3rd, I think you should be allowed 12 men in a formation on a punt. That's just me, okay?
Well, and as a result, Ron, back comes Oklahoma's offense on the football field and Louisiana Tech's defense, because it's now 4th and makeable, and Bob Stoops is thinking too long for a field goal. You know, if you punt it and it goes into the end zone, you know, what are you picking up? You might as well see if you can get more snaps for your offense. And Coach Holst doesn't like that. You know, a good part of their Friday practice, both coaches, is making sure you have the right guys on the field on special teams.
Well, Keith Ford now behind Knight. You can see the Sooners on 4th down. Knight looking right, throwing right. 1st down, wide open, inside the 20-yard line, and another 1st down. Grogan was there, but didn't close quickly enough on Ford, who picked up 18.
Ford is like a NASCAR Ford tonight. I mean, this guy is high-powered. You know, and again, though, I mean, they're just running simple little wheel routes out of the backfield, and they are wide open. You have a Louisiana Tech player that just hit the deck at about the 7-yard line well after the play ended. I don't know what his issue is, but writhing around in pain right now.
Looks like Lloyd Grogan. And it looks like his hand.
He's got a dislocated finger. I've been there. They'll try to put that thing back in place and slap some tape on it.
Look how open he is on this, though, Dave, on the,
yeah, I
the
mean,
route.
It's just a simple wheel route. And there's obviously an assignment error there. In making the tackle, I think he dislocated his fingers. He came down on the sideline. And I think that's the way he grabbed his hand. That's what Grogan's doing. Watch him grab his hand right here immediately. Grabs at it. May have popped the finger out of there. That's what they're doing. Pop it back in place. Turn your head away. Pop that thing back.
Well, P. Ryan comes in, and I'm glad we cut away quickly. Ford, 4 receptions, 65 yards tonight. He has shown that he's a weapon, not only running the football, but catching it. Oklahoma 1st and 10 again. P. Ryan bouncing off tackle. Gets down to about the 10-yard line. Tony Johnson finally was able to bring the big freshman down.
You know, he is very, very gifted. He's got tremendous vision.
Yeah.
And he can change direction for a big fella.
And they quick snap at P. Ryan again around the right side. Penalty flag is thrown.
You're going to have a hold out there on one of the big old linemen. I think they may have caught Darrell Williams out there potentially.
Holding. Offense. Number 79.
You got it.
10-yard penalty. Second down.
So you don't like that. It's something that Bob can complain about to his team and coach a little bit. Let's watch big Williams right here. Kind of grabs a little bit and gets a handful of the shoulder pads, and he got your money's worth though. Drove him right to the turf. That was a pile driving hold right there.
And Samaje P. Ryan stays in the backfield with Trevor Knight. Only the 2nd penalty for Oklahoma tonight. Knight looking, throwing, just a shade behind the intended receiver, Taylor McNamara. Let's check in with Chad down on the sidelines.
Well, you hate to point out a guy when he commits a penalty, but Darrell Williams has had a terrific offseason in addition to being an all-Big 12 talent a season ago. He's a guy who really emerged a vocal leader, and the offensive line needed someone to kind of replace the voice of Gabe Eicher, the All-American center, and Darrell Williams has been that guy. Jerry Schmidt, in fact, the strength and conditioning coach, the director of sports enhancement at Oklahoma, says if somebody missed a workout or didn't put out their best effort, there was going to be a fist fight with Darrell Williams.
And stretching out is Shepard. Are saying no, he was out of bounds.
He caught it but could not get 1 foot in bounds with possession. And following up, Chad, with Darrell Williams, Bob Stoops said that he may have had the best off-season and summer that any player has had since he's been coaching here, which is big. Let's take a look at Shepard. Does he have possession and a foot in bounds? Stretch, catch. Oh, knee just out of bounds. Knee hits down before he can drag the foot. I think that's a good call.
And it's going to be a 37-yard field goal attempt by Michael Honeycutt.
They're going to take another look at it, it looks like.
Ruling on the field was an incompleted pass. Previous play is now under further review.
Well, Sterling says it's a touchdown.
Did he get the toe down before the knee hit? That's the thing. You know, he's basically, his knee's out of bounds. His foot is still in bounds. It's that close. It's bang, bang. He made a heck of an effort for it.
He really stretched out on this.
Trevor Knight took him just a little bit too far to the back end, but I mean, it was a pretty throw. And he laid out for it, like you said, Ron. Does the toe hit down before the knee? He leaves his feet. Oh, it does.
Oh, it does.
It does. Toe hits before the knee. I think they may turn that over. It's bang, bang. He's dragging the toe before the knee hits, and he's got possession. He goes to the ground, maintains possession. I think they may give him a touch.
You know, when you look at Sterling Shepard, and you mentioned, you know, he's gotten stronger, obviously, and one of the things he wanted to work on coming into this season was the speed and also his releases on his routes.
I think he drags that right foot, the toe, before the knee hits down. And I'll tell you, we saw him run it. Oh, did he have possession? Did he lose? Was he juggling it on the ground? I mean, you have to go to the ground and complete the play. But, boy, that was – you talk about body control in the back corner of that end zone. When we saw him at Friday's practice, I was stunned.
Yeah.
This guy is put together. I mean, it really doesn't show in his football uniform as much as it does in shorts and T-shirts, obviously.
Does the ball hit the ground, though? You know, we look at it a couple of times, but let's make sure.
You have to finish it, take the ball in, takes it to his chest. Does he tuck it? Does he trap it? Does the ball...
After further review, ruling on the field is confirmed. Incompleted pass.
And Shepard obviously is upset about it, but he doesn't have his hands under the ball. He's got his hands on the side of the football, and the point of the football hits the ground, and that helps him secure the football. So the ball kind of splits his hands wasted, you know, obviously had to look for the feet. I think he got the toe down before the knee, but then when he went to the ground, didn't complete the catch without the ball hitting the ground without full possession.
Well, instead, it's a 37-yard field goal attempt for Honeycutt. Working on his master's degree here at Oklahoma. And he'll split the uprights. So Honeycutt with another field goal made, and Oklahoma extends the lead to 41-3. Sooners with a big lead over Louisiana Tech. Trevor Knight, along with a bunch of Sooner athletes, annually make a trip to Haiti for a mission trip. And Trevor Knight talked to us about what it means to him to go down there.
We have the opportunity to go to Haiti each summer with a big group of athletes, and it's really a great group of people that we get to take. You know, we get to take some football guys, some gymnasts, some women's basketball players, athletes from our whole campus, and we get to go serve for a week. It's something that is pretty special for our campus, that we're able to use that leadership to, you know, speak into the people in our locker rooms and really just grow, you know, tighter knit.
Well, you know, talking to players that go along with him on that trip, and as he mentioned, a number of different sports, touches all their lives, and they look forward to it every summer. Outstanding young man, Trevor Knight.
Is he ever?
And the Sooners are going to kick it away to King and Lee. Nobody will get it. With more on the trip down to Haiti, here's Chad again.
Yeah, Trevor Knight calls that a life-changing experience. He's been down there a couple of times, as have many student athletes at Oklahoma. And Jan Ross, assistant basketball coach for Sherry Cole, whom we talked to earlier, kind of started the trips down there to Haiti several years ago, but it's become such a huge part of some of the summer activities of these student athletes.
You know, guys, when your best players are quality human beings, 1 + 1 = 3. It raises the whole boat, you know. When your best players are jerks, you got issues. When your best players are tremendous human beings, 1 + 1 = 3.
Absolutely. And they go with the tight end. Ricky Jones is in. We have a penalty flag thrown. 9 minutes and 40 seconds left to play in the third. Sellout crowd of
offense, number 44, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Sellout crowd of 85,063 on hand for this opening game. And they've been treated to a pretty stout offense and pretty stingy defense.
Tell you, the pageantry here in Norman, Oklahoma,
wow.
Soonerland is as good as it gets. It's a heck of a place to witness college football.
And Blake Martin now in the backfield, and he will join Cody Sokol. Sokol's had a rough night. At times he has looked very good. And this is Martin. Tough running against that front seven of Oklahoma.
They tried to run a little power play there, pulling linemen, and Oklahoma was up to the task. Involved in that play, Charles Walker, and obviously the guy who's got a name for himself, Geno Grissom. But Walker, in the spring, I heard offensive linemen talking about this young guy, and they're like, he's a handful. When I hear offensive linemen talking about a teammate that's like, wow, in scrimmages and stuff, this guy's legit. I want to see how this Walker develops. I think he's got a bright future.
Well, he's beefed up, and he runs a 4.67 40. Not too bad. Sokol swings it out to Martin. Gets back and a little bit more to the original line of scrimmage. It's over the 25-yard line up to about the 26-yard line. Gain of about 5 on the play.
Last year, Martin separated his shoulder or something like that during the game and wouldn't come out.
Okay, against UTEP.
Yeah, against UTEP. And he's going to be forever a legend at Louisiana Tech for that toughness and that take one for the team mentality that he showed in that one.
Well, it's third down again for Louisiana Tech. They've only been successful one time this evening on 8 attempts. They need 9. Sokol sees a hand in his face, gets rid of it, incomplete. Penalty flag is thrown.
Yeah, they're going to call contact before the arrival of football. Drove on the ball very well. The route recognition was there, but might have been contact before arrival by Sanchez.
He has an interception tonight.
Pass interference. Defense, number 15. Penalty be enforced at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Well, Sanchez did a lot of things right, and he's out here, obviously, on the island on the perimeter. And he's going to chuck him at the line of scrimmage. Route recognition is there. Break on it. And he came right over the right shoulder and gave a little tug with that right hand. That's pretty good. He's already a veteran as a sophomore.
Yeah, really.
Trying to get a little cloth. You can't let it stretch, though. Just tug it. Don't let that thing stretch so they can see it.
He's the only starter on the defense under 6 feet tall. Shows you how big they are. Here is Blake Martin. Stumbles his way up over the 40 to the 41-yard line.
Yeah, I'll tell you, when we watched the Oklahoma practice on Friday, boy, do they pass the eyeball test. I see a lot of NFL teams, and I'm looking at the offensive and defensive line. I'm saying, hey, I don't see any group of guys looking better than this in the NFL camps I've been to.
Yeah.
They got some studs up there.
You also are part of the Bengals and their broadcast team, and you were comparing them a lot to some of the Bengal guys, too.
And very favorably. I mean, they got themselves some good-looking athletes.
2nd down and 5, closing in on 7:30 to play in quarter number 3. Martin getting the workhorse load. He gets the first down, gets up to the 49-yard line. That's a pickup of 8. So Blake Martin, as Dave was talking about, and in that UTEP game where he separated his shoulder, he had a 62-yard touchdown run.
I love guys like this. I mean, just absolutely blood and guts type football players. Love the game, want to go out there and compete every single snap, and he's running hard. He didn't care it's 41-3. He's getting an opportunity to run the rock.
Yeah, and you saw that. This is the only 3rd possession out of 9 that they've had more than 3 plays. Martin, they wanted to take him off his special team duties in that game, and he refused to do it. They finally took him off just one of them. And they hand it off to Martin again, and he gets in Oklahoma territory down to the 49-yard line.
Reminds me of Emmitt Smith, running in a playoff game with a separated shoulder. I mean, the guys that can withstand that kind of pain and block it out, they're special. Skip Holtz looking at that play sheet saying, what's left? What haven't I tried yet? What formation and personnel group can I try to put out there to give us some opportunity?
Well, every team Coach Holtz's coach has improved statistically from the previous season. And everybody's expecting big improvement from this team this year. Part of Conference USA. Dixon back into the lineup, and he's got the football. Bounces to the outside. Nice little spin move. Gets down to about the 43-yard line. Sanchez finally getting a hand on him.
Well, Louisiana Tech's offensive line sustaining blocks a lot better on this drive. They're getting better fits, and they're finishing. And at that time, caved down the right side of the offensive line, the left side of the defensive line for Oklahoma, and an opportunity for Dixon. And when he made his first cut past the line of scrimmage, it looked like Dixon. He hadn't had much opportunity to make his first cut, past the line of scrimmage.
That's a pretty good block from Paul Turner that helped him get a little more yardage. And now it's 3rd down and 2.
Turner's been quiet, though, catching it. Maybe that ankle's bothering him.
On 3rd and 2. The handoff to Martin, and he's going to lose yardage. Back to the 45-yard line, a loss of 4, Charles Walker.
There's my guy, showing a little bit of explosion. I'm telling you, boy, he's well put together. He's carrying some weight, and he's carrying it exceptionally well. And it's just a case of overpowering, taking the offensive lineman back, and then shucking him like an ear of corn, separating from that block, and making a play.
Loss of 6 officially. And they're going to have to kick it away, and Shepard standing again back at his 10-yard line. Check that, it's Micaiah Quick. Going to get a little chance to field a punt, the young freshman. Very personable young freshman, I might add. Quick saying, get away from it. Good call by the freshman.
How about some of these names? Striker, outside linebacker, Quick, wide receiver. That's some serious stuff.
Welcome back to Fox College football. Sooners leading the Bulldogs 41-3, 4:49 to play in our 3rd period. This past school year, the NCAA ruled that athletes can now receive unlimited meals and snacks, and the University of Oklahoma has been the beneficiary of a sports nutritionist on staff, Coach Tiffany Bird. She provides all kinds of snacks. Protein shakes are very popular with her. She mixes them up like nobody else. But now the University of Oklahoma will have the ability to give enhanced fueling station opportunities, perhaps even the purchase of a food truck that would go around campus delivering meals and more than just fruits and berries and those sorts of things, but actual healthy snacks. And what have you dubbed Tiffany Bird, Ron? What is the name you've given her?
She is the Princess of Protein.
There you
we
go.
even got her a tiara yesterday to wear. There's Ford on the carry, and earlier, this is after Ford scored the touchdown, and this is her reaction.
There you go.
Squeezing a little juice in there. She comes prepared.
Yeah.
It's NASCAR.
It's a pit stop. Yeah, it's a pit stop. She's topping off all the fluids.
Can we get her to come up here and bring us a couple of, protein bars and stuff, She works hard, though. I'm telling you, I got to meet her last year, and very, very impressive young lady.
I volunteer to drive that truck around.
Yeah, me too. we could do a little diners, drive and die thing,
Exactly.
Second down. Trevor looking to put it up again, and it's knocked down to the line of scrimmage. That'll bring up a third down situation. This is the worst starting field position for Oklahoma tonight.
Yeah, they've dominated in that area. I mean, turnovers, field position. These are the things that Louisiana Tech had to win to be competitive in the football game, and they haven't gotten that done.
Well, Trevor's missed 5 of his last 6 pass attempts. And another one on, and it goes to Jeffrey Mead, the young freshman. I think he's getting a little learning experience, a little bit different than playing high school ball, which he was doing a year ago in Tulsa, at Tulsa Union High School.
Sometimes that can be a tough throw. Throwing the football out in front of a guy that's running in the same direction you are. I mean, there's a very, very slight margin for error there, and Trevor couldn't quite get it done, nor could Mead.
And OU's going to have their first punt of the ball game. Trent Taylor standing back, ready to receive Jed Barnett's kick.
Barnett's going to let her. I mean,
yeah, really.
He hadn't done anything yet.
And a line drive kick. Fair catch at about the 42-yard line. Sooner fans, you can get the ultimate Sooner access all year long. All you have to do is join Soonersports.tv, powered by Fox Sports. Between the hash marks gives you the best sideline access each week during the football season. And Sooner Sports Talk is all things Sooners every Tuesday. Log on to Soonersports.tv now to get exclusive access year-round, and you get to see Chad on that, right, Chad?
All the time, Ron.
All the time.
Yeah, we had soccer. Soccer last night with Oklahoma beating number 6 Florida, by the way. You get archived games. We do recaps of those games, and you can see player and coach interviews on Soonersports.tv. It's really an online home if you are a Sooner fan.
And Florida State, the soccer tomorrow here in Oklahoma, correct? All right.
Got it. That's right. Number 2 team in the country.
Yeah, not too shabby. Here's Dixon. Tries to bounce to the outside, and the Sooners are swarming. Stays on his feet. Able to get back to the original line of scrimmage. Let me tell you how popular what Chad was just talking about is. I've got a friend in Japan that gets it. Wow. I mean, he is an ultimate Sooner fan, and I know he's watching.
Wow.
And I think it's tomorrow already today there. Or is it today already tomorrow? It's one of those two, having been over there a few times. But ultimate Sooner fan, no matter what time they're on, he will be watching. So, Doug, that's for you, my friend.
That last run, Ron, by Dixon was the most physical run for no yards I ever saw. I mean, he broke really 4 tackles to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Went nowhere quickly. Sokol looking to put it up. They wanted to go deep. Gets rid of it quickly, and it's complete to Sterling Griffin. We were expecting big things from Griffin tonight. That's his 3rd reception.
Did a nice job of finding a little hole in coverage and settled right in there. And Sokol delivered to Steve Reich.
Closing it on 3 minutes left to play in quarter number 3. Let's check in with Chad quickly.
Haven't said much about some of the Louisiana Tech guys, but Sterling Griffin is a special case, granted a 6th season of eligibility. He played for Skip Holtz at South Florida back in 2010, set out the entire season with an ankle injury, then tore his ACL the next year in 2012, missed that at USF, and then graduated down there and transferred to Louisiana Tech to complete his college career, playing for Skip Holtz here and he caught 33 balls for 357 yards a season ago.
Right on cue, he makes the play for you, Chad.
Perfect.
Excellent.
That was a good route, and then he made yards after catch, made him miss, and he's working against a pretty good player. Sanchez runs him off, spins inside. Sanchez misses the tackle. He has to get bailed out by a teammate, Devontae Bond, making the play.
And it brings a first down as we're closing in on 2 minutes to play here in quarter number 3. Ball sitting on the 21-yard line for the Bulldogs. Dixon looking for a block and still fighting his way. Bird was holding on, and I'll tell you what, Dixon, for 214 pounds at 5'10", he is incredibly strong.
You know, Mike Stoops' defense has played the run pretty darn well tonight. When you look at it, the 2 losses they had last year, Baylor and Texas, both rushed for 255 yards. So you have to stop the run, first and foremost, and Mike Stoops totally believes in that. Make a football team one-dimensional, you're going to have a lot of success, and right now, he wants to see things tighten up in the red zone.
Well, they've already gotten 45 yards on this drive. Their longest of the game was 56. Handed back to Dixon. This time, nothing doing. He's even going to push the chains back a little bit. Quentin Hayes, nice job from that strong safety spot, the senior out of Lancaster, Texas.
You know, I really admire what Bob and Mike Stoops decided to do last year. During the course of the season, basically. I mean, you know, right before let's change our whole defensive configuration, you know. And the fact that football's all about making adjustments and adjustments to adjustments. And all year long, they had to really figure it out personnel-wise, schematically, and now they've got something.
And Oklahoma wants a timeout, and they're going to get it. Bob Stoops was running out of the field.
Oklahoma.
As Louisiana Tech faces a 3rd down and 5. They're 1 of 9 on 3rd down situations. Speaking of Mike Stoops, he was the 2013 Recruiter of the Year, and well-deserved.
I can see him being effective in homes for sure.
I too. Want to remind you about tomorrow night, because college football will continue as SMU will be squaring off against Baylor, and it's our chance to see Baylor's new stadium on the Brazos. Coverage begins tomorrow at 6 o'clock on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go, all coming up tomorrow beginning at 6 p.m. And a lot of people, even though Baylor lost a lot of people defensively, there are still some that believe that Baylor will win the Big 12 this year because of Bryce Petty, obviously a Heisman Trophy candidate. Your thoughts on that?
Well, when you look at it, you know, you can see it potentially. In Oklahoma, the thing about it, they won the Sugar Bowl against Alabama, but then won 11-2. They did not win the Big 12.
Yeah.
They've tied for a Big 12 championship once in the last 3 years. Now it was with Kansas State. So Bob Stoops' point is, hey guys, simple. We have a lot of work to do still. We're not even defending Big 12 champion. Let's get after it.
On 3rd down, Sokol looks, fires, passes complete to Griffin.
Wow.
Nice little move to the outside. Let's see where they mark it. That should be good enough for a 1st down. They're going to mark it right at the 6-yard line, and that will be a 1st down.
Griffin, 2 receptions this drive. After you catch the football, you're a running back. You're in space now, and you're going to have to make somebody miss. And he does it. Boy, he slams on the brakes. That's a heck of a cut. And he crosses over twice, slams that right foot in the ground, and cuts away. And that's a pretty good football player he's working against, in Julian Wilson. And he couldn't make a play on him.
Now Sokol has hit his last 4 passes for 53 yards. Dixon is corralled immediately. Not sure if he even got back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, the last 2 times Louisiana Tech has tried to run the power play, Oklahoma has swarmed it big time.
And that's probably going to be the last play of quarter number 3, and it will be. So the Sooners are led 21-0 after the first quarter of play here in this ball game tonight. They've already hung 375 yards on Louisiana Tech. The Bulldogs with 165 yards. We'll head to the final stanza. Oklahoma leading 41-3 on the other side. We'll be talking to OU Athletic Director Joe Castiglione. Stay with us. Welcome back to Oklahoma football on Fox Sports, presented by the Chickasaw Nation. We are set to begin quarter number 4 with the Sooners leading Louisiana Tech 41-3. Along with Dave Lapham, I'm Ron Thulin. Joining us now, Athletic Director at the University of Oklahoma, Joe Castiglione. Joe, good to see you as always, my friend.
Ron, Dave, great to be with both of you. Glad to have you here in Norman.
We were talking about how far all of us go back, and it was your days even at Missouri where all of us first met.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I think it's close to 20 years.
Wow. You know, one of the exciting things happening here on campus is the expansion of the stadium here in Norman. It is incredible when you look at the rendering, Joe. Very impressive.
Well, we started out with the overhead shot. Now we're looking toward the south end zone. This is one of the new concourses. The actual stadium tower, which will be part of the press box. A whole new entrance on the south end. This is the tripling of the space in our strength and conditioning facility, over 30,000 square feet. It's unbelievable for our student athletes, and we'll get to why we're doing this.
Yeah, because I want to hear why, because it's also going to be great for the fans' experience with the expansion of the concourse. But right now, Louisiana Tech facing 2nd down and 6. Ball is on the 6-yard line. Sokol straight back, looks over the middle, pass knocked away. Good defensive effort. Quentin Hayes may have gotten a hand on it. Talk about the benefits of the new facility.
Well, Ron, there's 2 goals that we had, 2 specific goals. World-class experience for our student athletes, and I'll talk about that's the biggest part of the south end zone expansion. And then the unforgettable experience for our fans. A lot of people think when you do such a massive project like this, it's building it bigger. It'll be some bigger, but it's about better. The better overall experience for our fans, and obviously for those great student athletes that develop in those facilities so we can watch them play like we are right now.
I'll tell you, when you talk about Coach Jerry Schmidt, nobody does a better job, and give him more opportunity to improve these the bodies and minds of these athletes. You got something special.
You know, when you look at the renderings too, and I was talking to Jerry on Thursday and Coach Stoops, and everybody is just so excited about it, of just having a project where it's like, and you mentioned, and all the players mentioned it, and Scott Anderson mentioned it, the trainer, it's going to benefit all the athletes here.
Well, everything we do here is centered on trying to create the best possible experience for our student athletes. No different than President Bourne's trying to do for all the students and the people, the faculty and staff in our whole university. And then last year we were talking about the opening of the Headington Hall. It wasn't too long ago when we were talking about coming out of the ground. So we accelerate these projects, and the one we're taking stock in right now is maybe the fastest and the biggest we've ever started.
I love it.
I'll tell you, Headington, I mean, that's a game changer there. Joe, you're a visionary. There's no question about it. I mean, guys like you not only see it before everybody else, but you get it done so quickly. How do you pull it off?
With a lot of help. And there's never about one person. That the beauty of being at Oklahoma, everybody comes here with an idea that you can be part of bigger than any one person. But you see the collective efforts that create such a competitive advantage for us.
Sokol throws it out of the flat to Dixon. Touchdown, Louisiana Tech. Great strength by Kenneth Dixon after the catch.
Well, this is their best offensive player. You know, the guy's averaging over 6 yards a carry for his career. Only 6 running backs in the country can say that. And once he catches the football, he's a running back. And he split 2 defenders, showed his strength, his power. He's a complete back. You know, he can run it, he can catch it, and he's pretty good in blitz pickup, and makes a nice play here on this pass to get his team in the end zone. Let's see if his right knee's down when he was hit. Then he spins in the end zone. Does the right knee hit the ground? Yes, it does. That's coming back. That's coming back to just inside the 2-yard line. That great effort is going to be overturned.
Well, they're going to go ahead and kick it. And Barnes' extra point is good. So the touchdown's going to stand. We'll be back with Joe Castiglione after the break. But 14:49 left to play in the ball game. The Sooners lead it 41-10 in Norman. 41-10 is our score. Oklahoma leading Louisiana Tech with 14:49 left to play in the ball game. And time now for our Chesapeake Energy Playbook for tonight.
Trevor Knight sees Shepard out there on Abraham one-on-one. He says, I'm going to my best receiver. I'm going to run a little fade, get it up there, and I trust my guy to get the football. And Shepard doesn't let him down. He just bodies Abraham away, and touchdown.
And with us, of course, Joe Castiglione, the athletic director at the University of Oklahoma, talking about the new facility. But I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about, and this is something I noticed in the paper, you're very proud of, the coaches are, the grades of these athletes. The APR, very impressive.
Well, this is a record for us. We had 5 straight semesters where the total GPA of our student athletes have been above a 3-point. This one of the semesters this past year was 3.06, a record.
And this is going to be Alex Ross taking the kickoff. Up over the 25, over the 30, to the 40. Inside the 30, one to beat, sidesteps, and going to be brought down at the 13-yard line. 80 yards on the return for Alex Ross.
Well, you talk about a guy that has track-type speed, and he found a crease, and the key here is get north and south. Now busted. Missed tackle, stiff arm. That was the kicker. That's ugly. Off to the races we go. Did have an angle. Realized it, tried to cut it back inside, got every square inch he possibly could. Great return.
His first kickoff return. You were quite calm during that, Joe.
I've seen this in practice. This guy, he makes a few people pay for trying to tackle him. He is a load.
Yeah, I mean, with all that speed, you'll lower those pads and just pound you.
P. Ryan also in the backfield, joining Alex Ross. Sooners knocking on the door yet again. P. Ryan.
Man.
Let's get back to the APR, because I don't think we can stress that enough, because all we ever read in the paper is, oh, this school's doing that, this school's doing that. We very seldom read the real positive stories, and I'm very proud of Oklahoma for doing that.
Well, again, I want to credit our coaches for recruiting the best and the brightest to come here. As I mentioned, we have almost 600 student athletes in 21 different sports, and the community service hours that they do that nobody ever sees, over 4,000 this past year. Look at this guy.
My goodness.
P. Ryan, touchdown.
Man, I'm telling you, P. Ryan Flowers, you got some freshman studs. You got freshmen that are very mature freshmen, mentally, physically. P. Ryan is El Lodo, and I'll tell you, he's got great feet and great vision as well as that power, man. He's going to be something.
First college touchdown. Watch it again, Dave. You like this.
Watch Shed. Shed pulls around the horn, gets a little block, and then just, man, I'll tell you, you're gonna buy a token for that ride. You can't have a free ride from the 4-yard line. You're gonna pay for that.
And the extra point by Honeycutt. This will be point number 12 tonight. Came into the game needing 40 to pass to Marco Murray. Got it. Joe, on behalf of Dave and all of us here at Fox, you've been not only a great mentor to all of us, but also a dear, dear friend for a lot of years. We wish you, President Boren, Bob Stoops, everybody on the athletic staff, great success in years to come.
Well, thank you. I've always felt it was a privilege to be the athletic director and working with such a great group of coaches and student athletes and a great partner like Fox.
There you go.
Thank you, guys.
Joe, good seeing you again.
You're the best, Joe.
We'll be back. Oklahoma leading at 48-10. Don't go anywhere. Oklahoma football on Fox Sports is brought to you by American Energy Partners. Hard work works here. OU Presidents Associates. OU Presidents Associates, proud sponsors of OU Athletics. It's not a trend, it's a Sooner tradition. Sooners for life. And by Ford, brought to you by your Oklahoma Ford dealers. The Ford Summer Spectacular sales event now playing at a Ford dealer near you. How about this? Ross, Ford, and P. Ryan, they've combined for 5 touchdowns tonight. That's 2 sophomores and a freshman.
Yeah, don't be overly concerned about the running back position here at Oklahoma. They're young, but they are talented.
And another kickoff for Hodgson. He's done a great job tonight. And right at the goal line, it's going to be Tevin King. Looking for some running room up over the 20 to the 23-yard line. I mean, you look at Ross, 147 all-purpose yards this evening. That's impressive.
Yeah, I've been impressed with not only their ability to run the football, but they've caught it extremely well. You know, and done something after the catch, obviously, being running backs the caliber they are. So I think it's a nice start. And the thing that I've been real impressed with, Ron, that I thought I would be impressed with coming into this game, because Louisiana Tech, their offensive line being so young and raw, I thought that Oklahoma's defensive line and front seven would be dominant, and they have been for the most part. And up front, Oklahoma's offensive line has handled the game, handled the trenches.
And Sokol rifles the pass. The problem that I think Skip Holtz has is his September is just incredible. Also has to play Auburn last week of September.
Yep.
3 games in 13 days, all on the road against bowl teams. And 4 of the first 5 games on the road are also versus bowl teams.
And look at the ranking of, Oklahoma and Auburn. That's as tough as it gets. And the first 3 games on the road at night.
Yeah.
And, that's definitely a challenge.
He said, that's the way the schedule is. I have to play it. Doesn't matter. We got to get better every week. He says we're a lot better than we were last year at this time. Sokol hands off to Dixon. He is still just bouncing around. Gets over the 30-yard line. Picks up a couple on the play. Will be about 2 yards short of the first down.
Yeah, I liked his comment on that. You know, when we asked Coach Holtz what he thought about his football team, he said, well, we're not where we need to be, but we're not where we were. In other words, we're tracking in the right direction.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, he obviously grew up around the game of football. I mean, what better mentor than Lou Holtz for your dad? And he understands the game. He understands how to recruit players to play the game. He'll get it done. He's gotten it done at other places.
Absolutely. As we mentioned, East Carolina specifically on 3rd down and about 2. Sokol putting it up. Has a man wide open. Almost a one-handed catch by Trent Taylor.
That's the thing you look for. It's 48-10. Are your players still playing hard?
Exactly.
Taylor's playing hard. Taylor's not quitting. Taylor's going up trying to make a one-handed acrobatic catch. He's giving full effort. He could have said, that's too high. Just let it go over my head. He's giving everything he's got. So, what you want to do is you want to see how your team's going to compete. And it's easy to compete when you're up 38 points. Tougher to compete when you're down 38 points.
And all the coaches told us that. Tony Peterson, offensive coordinator, and Skip, obviously, and Manny Diaz says we want to see what kind of fight they have late in the game.
And they're showing a lot.
Well, Micaiah Quick standing back at the 30-yard line. And again, he says, get away from it. And they do. 12-17 left to play in the ball game. The Sooners on their way to an opening win in 2014. They lead it 48-10. We've had a lot of exciting plays tonight for the Sooners, but our Bud Light play of the game belongs to that man right there.
Alex Ross, 6'1", 221 pounds. Gets 0 to 60 quickly. He finds a hole like a running back. He's north and south, stiff-arming people out of his way. A couple of guys have an angle on him, turns it back inside, and gets every yard he can get. Tremendous effort by Alex Ross.
And Keith Ford will go into the lineup now. Ross getting a little breathing time. Trevor Knight staying in, and we'll talk about that in a second, why he is staying in at quarterback this late in the game. Knight looks, throws, passes bobbled. Was intended for Jordan Smallwood. Now, a lot of people are probably saying, a lot of Sooner fans, get him out of there. But there's a reason. Cody Thomas, he had a muscle strain last week, the backup quarterback. Obviously, Baker Mayfield's situation is not settled yet. You could put Blake Bell back there, but I think they're just trying to keep it simple now for Trevor.
And Bob didn't like the fact that he got smoked after he threw that football. I mean, he got hit. He got knocked to the turf unceremoniously, so you do not want your quarterback getting hit in the 4th quarter of a 38-point margin of victory at this stage.
Well, Knight has missed 7 of his last 8 passes. This time he just hands it off to Ford. Looking for the corner and gets it. Up over the 40 to the 41-yard line. It'll be about a yard short of the first down.
Well, this Ford's got a little acceleration. This Ford's souped up a little bit. It's got a Hemi engine in it or something, because he can get around the corner. And Louisiana Tech is having a hard time setting the edge defensively against this big Oklahoma offensive line.
Now, Samaje Perine comes back in the lineup. What a night he has had running the football for the Sooners. 69 yards on 11 carries and a touchdown. 3rd down and short.
And the touchdown he had, Ron, he got hit at about the 3 or 4 yard line. And his yards after contact took him to the end zone.
And we'll take it with him. Bob Stoops going to do a little coaching, even though they're up 48-10. We'll be back with more after this. Time now to take a look at our OU Outreach game summary for this evening.
Well, as you would expect, more than double total yards, more than doubled first downs. Man, 5 yards or less, 7 of 11 drives tonight. Mike Stoops is going to love that. Kentrell Bryce has had a nice ball game.
How about Louisiana Tech has 10 seconds more in possession time?
I know. That proves that stat can be meaningless.
Exactly.
You know, big plays. And Mike Stoops, 7 of 11 drives, 5 yards or less. That dog will hunt.
That'll work. P. Ryan right up the middle, gets the first down and then some. You know, you look at Louisiana Tech, they were like minus, I think it was 8 minutes in time of possession last year. People just held on to the ball against them, but a little more even now. And a quick snap. Here's P. Ryan again, looks for a little running room. Battles his way close to midfield. Now Manny Diaz, I should say, the defensive coordinator, very familiar, was at Texas. He was afraid that Oklahoma knew the signs from his Texas days, so they put up that big screen.
Yeah, I mean, you can scheme and game plan all you want, but when the X's are bigger, faster, stronger, quicker than your O's, it's tough. It's tough unless you start putting extra men out there.
Well, Daniel Brooks is now getting some action in the backfield for Oklahoma, the sophomore out of Texas. Pass complete. First down, Oklahoma. Inside the 40, down to the 36-yard line, Dimitri Flowers. You know, one thing about him, and we got a chance to meet him and watch him in spring practice, he gets the concepts. And that's pretty difficult for a freshman to understand.
Yeah, he already sees the big picture, and they feel very comfortable, you know, playing him at fullback, tight end, you know, H-back move guy, just like they did some tonight with Blake Bell. They feel like they can do it with this young freshman. He gets the big picture. He's got great football IQ.
On 1st and 10, Knight will just swing it out to the left side to Smallwood. Was hoping for a block, maybe picked up about a yard on the play. Smallwood, the redshirt freshman out of Jenks, Oklahoma. Chad, you want a $64,000 question to Dave Lapham, huh?
At least half that price.
Oh, okay, good. Just checking.
At least half that price. No, you know, are the days of the feature running back in college football over with? We've seen 3 guys for Oklahoma, Ford and P. Ryan and Ross, and Adrian Peterson was a special back. There aren't many of those guys running around, but because teams run 110 plays now and guys like Adrian Peterson are so difficult to find, are the days of the feature running back in college football coming to a close?
Yeah, and I do think they like to do it by committee, Chad, to keep them fresher and have them have more tread on the tire, you know, down the stretch. And, you know, like LSU, for example, Les Miles, he doesn't burn guys up down there. He always has a split of carries amongst running backs. And I think more and more schools are going to do that, particularly when you can recruit the talent that Oklahoma does, spread the wealth a little bit.
That pass should have been caught by Smallwood as Trevor put it right on the money. Kind of picking up what you said, Chad. You look at the way offenses are going now, and there's been a lot written about how a lot of high school running backs are going, you know, I don't want to be a running back. I want to go to some kind of slot position or wide receiver position, because a lot of people don't run the football like they used to.
No, but Oklahoma last year, they had their most rushing yards since Bob Stoops' first season. They kind of resurrected that running game, and there are some schools that still do it. I still believe in balance. I think some games you're going to have to throw it to win, some games you're going to have to run it to win,
yeah.
And you better be able to do both. And I think Oklahoma's showing signs of being able to do that kind of thing. But, yeah, and honestly, I think it helps a lot of guys now, a lot of running backs understand, don't beat me up in college because I'm going to try to go to the next level, and I don't want to leave college beaten up and broken down. I still want to have a lot of tread on the tire, so I think that's part of it as well.
Oklahoma 3 for 3 on 4th down tonight. This time they need 5 as we go inside of 9 minutes to play in the ball game. Knight looking, throwing the deep out, caught, complete. First down, Oklahoma to KJ Young. That is his 3rd catch of the evening.
Slot receiver, runs himself a nice route. You know, Smallwood takes people up the football field, gives KJ Young a little opportunity to work underneath, and that's an accurate football thrown right there.
I think KJ's finally playing at the speed that the coaches want him to play.
Yeah, I think he's another one that's understanding route concepts, you know, just
right.
not what I'm doing, but what are people around me doing, and why am I doing what I'm doing? If you can answer those questions, it's helpful.
Another first down for the Sooners. 10th play of the drive. Knight throws, not a good throw. Smallwood was the intended receiver. It's been the 11th play. Let's go back a couple of plays. When Trevor was kind of forced out of the pocket, he slid right away. I don't think he would have done that last year.
Yeah, I think he's definitely matured. Let's face it. I mean, he needs time on task. You know, I mean, he has not played that much football. He had a tremendous Sugar Bowl. And, of course, everybody's saying, oh, yeah, he's a one-hit wonder. You know, what did he do the rest of the season? Hey, he wants to build off of that Sugar Bowl. And Bob Stoops is saying, hey, you know what? We're an elite program. Why were people so surprised we won the Sugar Bowl? We expect to win. We don't hope to win.
That's a good point. And here's Daniel Brooks. Gets inside the 20-yard line, down to about the 18-yard line. Brooks out of Port Lavaca, Texas. Didn't play in 2013, redshirted in 2012. Very, very fast young man. He was a 4-star recruit out of high school and did run a 10.600 in high school.
Well, Bob Stoops has said that this is his best freshman class he's had. He's only had him here a month. There's a red zone opportunity, 5 touchdowns and 6 red zone opportunities. That's getting it done. That's finishing drives. For Bob Stoops to say it's the best freshman class he's had,
I know,
and develop those guys. Look at how many freshmen have contributed tonight. Boy, they get starters in waiting.
On 3rd and 7, tip picked off. Houston Bates, the transfer out of Illinois. Then he tried to get too fancy schmancy there.
Oh, it was a zone read, and Bates dropped off. He dropped into coverage. Trevor Knight didn't expect Bates to be there. Bates is a down lineman, dropped off into coverage and makes the interception. That's a pretty athletic play.
Second turnover for Oklahoma, Dave.
There he is. Instead of rushing, he drops into coverage. He undercuts the route. And Trevor Knight expected Bates to be a rush guy as a stand-up defensive end like he's been most of the night. They changed it up. And not only does he drop, he makes a very athletic play. Tips it to himself, and off to the races he goes.
Now, when he played at
Illinois,
he was honorable mention all Big Ten. It wasn't like he was some kind of slacker.
You know, he says that there are a couple of defensive linemen on this team that could play in the Big Ten.
I think that's impressive. Here is Martin, left side, picks up a couple. Just about 7 minutes to play in the ball game. In case you just joined us, Sooners jumped out to a 21-0 lead. In that first quarter, Jordan Evans was disqualified for a targeting play, and about 4 minutes left in quarter number 1. That was a big loss, but the Sooners have been able to overcome that. And the Sooners have been pretty effective offensively, except for that last drive. They had almost a 5-minute drive, but came away with 0 points, and that's kind of a first tonight.
And Trevor's had 2 turnovers. He had the interception, then he had the fumble. You know, the ball just slipped out of his hand as he was rearing back to throw it. It just fell right out of his palm.
Well, Skip Holtz wants a timeout. He'll have one remaining.
Louisiana Tech.
I think he's not sure that Cody knew what was going on. Skip says everything they do is signals. They worked with crowd noise. Of course, now most of the crowd is, I think, on their way to their favorite establishment here in Norman, whatever that might be.
An adult beverage or two, maybe?
Yeah, really. I think that was beforehand, but that's another story. But he said, you know, we worked on a lot of hand signals, and, you know, they were ready for the crowd, I think, at Oklahoma. Unfortunately, they weren't ready for the speed or the size of OU.
Yeah, there's no question it was a different caliber of athlete that they were going up against, and Bob Stoops loves his depth. We talked about the freshman class that he brought in, and they're developing that depth, whereas Skip Holtz says, you know, I feel good about my 11, but I'm not sure after that. Well, you know, you're on the road against a top 5 team, you know, 4 in one poll, 3 in another. That's tough sledding, man. That's all uphill.
Well, Oklahoma came into this game having won 31 straight games when allowing 21 or fewer points. Totally under Bob Stoops, 119-8. Sterling Griffin with the reception. I think if Skip Holtz looks for some positive, I think the play of Sterling Griffin tonight has to be one, and just the fortitude of Kenneth Dixon is probably the other, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. I think that he's going to be happy with how his team competed. You know, obviously there wasn't a whole lot of success, but nobody spit the bit. You know, nobody quit out there. And I think that's the one thing that he was looking to see. You know, can I count on these guys?
Sokol on 3rd down and 1. The pile just pushes forward. They clear the 45-yard line. So they will move the chains.
Here's a number, Ron. Since 1998, Louisiana Tech is 4-60 if they don't score 21 or more points. If they score fewer than 21, they will be 4-61 now. It looks like.
Wow.
So that's the magic number for them. That big old number of 21.
It looks like Bob Stoops in his 200th game will win number 161. Only Joe Paterno has had more in the first 200 games. Sokol swings it out to Dixon, and he is dragged down from behind. Nice defensive play by Aaron Franklin, the sophomore redshirt freshman out of Marshall, Texas.
Yeah, what do you do in space? What do you do in the open field? This is a guy that's a load to take down. And to take him down one-on-one like that and to sling him to the ground going in the reverse, that's getting it done.
And there you see the number since 1998. And it's going to be tough for Louisiana Tech to get to 21 points in this game. Sokol on second down. Here comes some pressure. Wide open in the flat again. It is Griffin.
The problem is if they get to 21, they're less than halfway there.
Yeah, really.
The opponents, almost hung half a hundy on you.
7 receptions for Sterling Griffin out of Opelika, Florida.
Glad to see that.
Yeah, me too.
Young kid that fights back from injury adversity, gets 6 year of eligibility, wants to go out there and compete, and he played a heck of a football game tonight. He was great yards after catch, making people miss.
He came in with 92 career receptions, averaged almost 13 yards a reception. 7 catches tonight for 74 yards. On 1st and 10, Sokol on the run, throwing. Pass is complete. Connor Smith, the sophomore out of Covington, Louisiana, and the Louisiana Tech fans. Name may be familiar. His dad, Wayne, was a big-time Louisiana Tech hoopster.
You know, Ron, the thing that, if you're Skip Holtz, the thing that you want to avoid, knock on wood, because there still is almost 4 minutes left in this football game, is injury.
Yeah.
You play a game like this, you don't want to lose a bunch of bodies. You don't want your team to get beaten up. I don't think there's anything major. I think a few guys are going to be in the whirlpool a little bit. They'll be sore after this game, but I think they're going to bounce back.
On 2nd down, Dixon maybe got about a half a yard on the play as the clock goes inside of 3.5 left in the contest, and Dixon says he needs a break. He's got a little hitch there in his step, doesn't he, Dave?
Yeah, maybe I jinxed it, but he's getting off the field pretty much under his own power. But you worry about that. It's like, man, the schedule that he's got to start the season. Are you going to have enough people left to play your conference games? That's the concern. That's the worry.
And they're still going to be in the hunt for Conference USA. I mean, Marshall obviously in the East is the big-time favorite, but in the West, North Texas is the favorite. But, boy, you look at UTSA, big win over Houston. And you look at the rest of the squads, and Louisiana Tech's got a lot to play for this season. That's Blake Martin. I like this young man out of Lucas, Texas.
I'll tell you, that's 2 pretty good tackles by Aaron Franklin. Aaron Franklin is out in space, hitting people and pretty much getting them to the ground. That's pretty impressive. Usually, you know, guys the caliber of Division I athletes in space make the first guy miss.
I think I may have said he was a redshirt freshman, but that is mistaken. He had 6 total tackles last year. You talk to the coaches about Franklin, they say solid. That's the one word they use when talking about him.
He's definitely a solid tackler. I'm impressed with him. He brings the wood.
2.5 to play in the ball game. 1st and 10, ball's on the 34-yard line for Louisiana Tech. Sokol again rolling away from the pressure, looking complete inside the 30-yard line to Connor Smith, and they're saying it's incomplete. Connor Smith, a big target at 6'3".
He is. That's another thing that Oklahoma did in their recruiting. You know, they have the tallest recruiting class in college football. I think they recruited 3 wide receivers, I'm talking about, over 6'4".
Yeah.
In that freshman class. So they want big targets that have a huge catching radius and just get the ball in the air and let them get that contested catch.
Sokol 19 of 33 with an interception, 159 yards and a touchdown so far tonight. 2nd down and 10. Martin, left side, not a whole lot going on, and clock goes towards 2 minutes now. 11th play of the drive coming up.
Ron, I'm impressed with Sokol. You know, as a former lineman, you know, I'd look at Sokol's performance when I watch tape tomorrow and think, man, this guy took a lot of hits.
Yeah, he did.
And he never came back to the huddle and chewed on any of us. He just, you know, played and competed. And I think he's going to win the hearts of a lot of guys up front. This guy played a tough game tonight.
And he continues on 3rd down. Looks, throws it out flat to Martin, who takes a big-time shot from Stan Von Taylor, the sophomore out of Tulsa.
Well, they've been tackling on the perimeter out in space very, very well tonight. Bob and Mike Stoops are going to like that big time. You know, catch, turn up the football field, over. Journey done. That's textbook. I mean,
look at that.
Get your head across the bow, wrap your arms up. That's what you don't see enough anymore. Guys wrapping their arms up to bring people to the ground. A lot of guys just want to make the big hit and get on, you know, some kind of highlight show. Forget that. Wrap them up and bring them to the turf.
Now Taylor's got 3 tackles. Whoa! Sokol hit as he throws, but completes the pass to Hunter Lee.
Free runner at Sokol. I mean, they just broke down their protection up front. Sokol did a good job of seeing it and getting rid of the football. I mean, that's a guy that's had a pretty good series here. Aaron Franklin came up clean and put a big hit on the quarterback, and he stood in there. He's thrown the ball with courage in the pocket.
He has. 13th play of the drive. Dixon back in. Sokol looking, throwing over the middle. Caught, touchdown, Louisiana Tech. Trent Taylor with the reception.
And Bird and Taylor for the Oklahoma Sooners look at each other in the secondary and start raising their arms and shrugging their shoulders, perplexed. Well, there's a broken coverage there, and Sokol took advantage of it. It starts with protection. He has enough of it. Puts the ball between corner and safety. Broken coverage.
Well, Hatari Bird was not happy at that free safety spot. Extra point is blocked, and it is loose. Sooners will pick it up, but will not go anywhere.
2 blocked kicks, blocked field goal, blocked extra point. And Mike Stoops doing some coaching right there in his secondary, chewing them out pretty good. Up the gut and from the outside. I think it went through, and I think number 9, did Diamond get his hand on it? Did it go through the first and Diamond deflect it? 90, Diamond got it.
32 block kicks under Bob Stoops. Well, let's go back to the touchdown because they're talking to Hatari Bird, and I think Mike Stoops isn't really happy with it.
Yeah, he's not happy with it at all, and I mean, Bird's the one that was shrugging his shoulders and I don't know who he thought was behind him. When you're a safety, you can't let the deepest guy on the football field get behind you. You're the last line of defense. You have to be the deepest guy in the football field, and Bird allowed that to happen. Somebody get behind him and touchdown.
And he's also talking to Stephen Parker, the strong safety on that play, one of the 4-star guys, the true freshman out of Jenks, Oklahoma. They're very high on him. Final 37 seconds in the ball game.
And that's another reason Mike's not happy. I mean, they throw a touchdown pass in the final minute of the football game, you know, and put a sour taste on a great defensive performance for the most part.
As we say in business, get something to coach on tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
This is going to be Micaiah Quick. Steps to the outside, and he's going to be dropped at the 28-yard line. As our player of the game is brought to you by Chesapeake Energy, and I don't think there's any question. It's got to be Alex Ross of Oklahoma.
Ross ran the ball, caught the ball, returned to kick 80 yards. That's some all-purpose yardage. And when your offensive line blocks for that, like that, and you're untouched in the end zone, it makes it for an easy day. But this kickoff return was outstanding. He took it to the not to the house. He took it for 80 yards, split field position, 147 all-purpose yards for Alex Ross.
And he gets a couple of congratulations. And final 31 seconds. This will probably be it.
Genuflect formation, take a knee.
And he will. So Trevor Knight goes the distance tonight. 19 of 34, 253 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Sooners will now take on Tulsa. Up in Tulsa, Bill Blankenship's squad, big double overtime win over Tulane the other night, and then Tennessee comes to town.
Well, Oklahoma, I think, showed that they have a lot of good football players. I think the roster depth is one of the things that people are going to be impressed with. Oklahoma, it's not just a starting 22. It's about a starting 30 or more on each side of the football. They have a lot of football players.
Quick grade for Trevor Knight tonight.
You know, obviously great starts coming out of the locker room first and third quarter, but a little bit inconsistent, and that's what he has to work on is more consistent play.
Well, Bob Stoops standing by with Chad McKee. Chad.
Thank you, Ron. Coach, 48-16 season opener. How did you feel overall about it?
You know, good. There's some good and bad. Like always, that's first game. You know, there's got to eliminate the turnovers on offense. That's you know, something that can't happen. Defensively, some of our backups get in there and, you know, need to play better. But it's a great experience for them getting out here, and hopefully it'll improve our depth with learn from some of the mistakes out here.
So a trio of young running backs, Samaje Perine, Alex Ross, and Keith Ford, the sophomore, got in there. How did you feel about their effort?
They're really strong, powerful guys, so I felt great about what they're doing. They took care of the football, seemed to be assignment correct all day. So that was positive.
Defensive line, Kenneth Dixon, a very good running back, 27 touchdowns a couple of years ago, and you hold them to 52 yards rushing. How did you feel about the front seven in particular?
I felt great about the whole defense. The first group, you know, the first group was really strong. Like I said, then we started mixing in a bunch of other guys. That's the experience of being on the field. They'll learn from it, hopefully, and be better for it. But some of them, you know, made a few mistakes that we need to correct.
Coach, congratulations on the win. We'll let you get in there with your guys.
All right, thank you.
Coach Bob Stoops with us. Ron, we'll send it back up to you.
All right, Chad, thanks so much. I think one of the things that you and I have been talking about the last couple of days, that Oklahoma has soldiers at every position. That's your word. You like to call about that.
Yeah, and, you know, I think in Bob Stoops, when I asked him about that, I said, you have soldiers everywhere? He goes, yeah. I said, you know, they can convey your message. He goes, you know what? I don't have to worry about a message. My soldiers are basically self-policing. And when you have that, you get something really special. When the players are saying, hey, you know what? You're out of line. Get yourself back in line. That's when you get something.
Well, Keith Ford was special tonight. Had a couple of touchdown runs. He's standing by with Chad.
Indeed, Keith Ford was special tonight. Part of a 183-yard rushing performance by the Sooners. Keith, a lot of young guys back in that backfield. You, Alex, and Samaje. Was this an opportunity for young guys to make a statement?
Oh, yeah, all of us, man. We're all young, and we all, you know, just as you saw today, we all produced and we all contributed to the win tonight. You know, offensive line did good. Trevor did nice. Defense, everything, man. We just all played as a team today.
How would you describe your running style?
Just downhill, trying to get yards, just going vertical. You know, that's my, you know, style of play, you know. Not go backwards, just go forwards.
I know the ball security is something that you worked hard on in the offseason. Tell us how you went about that and how you feel it has worked out for you.
Just on the summer preparation, just doing the little things during the summer and the offseason just to get better at the pass blocking, ball security, footwork, just really taking initiative of what I need to work on and what I want to work on. So.
Got into the end zone a couple of times. Trevor Knight started his second season opener at quarterback. He started a year ago this time. What do you notice that's different about him attitude-wise and his leadership on this team?
His maturity. He's a tremendous leader. He's really, really mature, and from last season you can just see it. Like just every day he comes in and he talks to us as a team. We have team meetings, and he just, you know, just his voice and how he leads the team is just, you know, it's just eye-opening. You know, it just makes you want to listen. So just a maturity thing.
Keith, congratulations on the win. We'll let you get in there and enjoy it with your teammates.
Thank you. Go Sooners.
Ron, Dave, back up to you.
All right, Chad, good job tonight. We appreciate all the effort. And Dave, final thoughts about the game. And Bob, I think Bob Stoops said it right. It's the first game. Your first team did quite well. Second one, you start mixing guys in. That's expected, but this is a great starting point.
It is a great starting point, and I think Bob's happy that he got to play a lot of players and expose some of them to their first Division I college football experience and live and learn. Some mistakes, but some great play. Telling you, those freshman running backs, legit.
Absolutely. The Sooners 436 total yards as they win the ball game. That's it from Gaylord Family, Oklahoma Memorial Stadium in Norman. Final score, Sooners impressive 48-16. For Dave Lapham, Chad McKee, and our entire crew in Norman, I'm Ron Thulin. Thanks for watching, and good night, everybody.